most amazing young men that I've ever been around.
Let's go. Police Officer John Delara. Police Officer Vincent Dan.
Just go out, show the guts. You showed up September 11th, and you'll take it home, baby. That's it.
You have to realize these young men are working for a living. It's a challenge for all of them.
And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Chicago, Illinois for this critical NPSFL football game between the New York PD finest and the Chicago Enforcers. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Fraser, joined by Mike Curry, who joins us here this afternoon. Mike, critical football game tonight, to say the least.
Big game for both teams today. The seventh facing of the teams, and it's a rematch of the championship from last year. It's going to be a great show. Both have to bring everything to the field today because everything's on the line after this.
It is, and you know, that game last year, a tale of two halves. Chicago with an incredible lead at the break. Second half, NYPD came back, made some adjustments, and won. Just as it was 2 weeks ago when Chicago, this Enforcers team, took on FDNY, and it was a tale of two halves where Chicago came out on top.
It was a big momentum shift in both games, and hopefully today, I'm going to be biased. I hope our Enforcers come through. I hope they carry the momentum all the way through the game and stop playing cardiac Enforcer football.
Well, NYPD comes in a glorious record in the years they played football in the NPSFL. NYPD simply wins.
They've been a powerhouse for as long as I can remember, for as long as this league's been in existence. Every year they bring the best to the field, and they provide a great team every single year with great coaching, great players, good discipline. It's going to be a great ball game today, Mike.
Boy, Chicago, when you look at them, as you see now, New York NYPD taking the field here this afternoon. They come in 3-0 on the season. Chicago 3-0 on the season. Winner of this football game here today punches their ticket to the NPSFL championship game. The only thing then left to be determined was where they go play.
Which will be the challenging San Diego, I believe. The San Diego Enforcers. And this is going to be a great matchup today. A lot of good football players on this field.
And you see NYPD and the Chicago Enforcers, both teams taking to the field. Let's go down to the field for our pregame ceremonies before kickoff for this important NPSFL football game. Department the Chicago Police Department color guard out there. As we have the playing here of our national anthem.
Closer, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose precious and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watch were still gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bomb bursting in air gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And a phenomenal rendition of the national anthem performed here at Mount Carmel High School on the south side of Chicago.
An outstanding job by her. Compares only to Enrico Palazzo in quality.
Incredible rendition of the national anthem, and you see now the pregame ceremony that is occurring here down on the field. Recently, the Chicago Police Department lost a 10-year veteran on the police force. A 38-year-old John Bartholomew passed away. And there will be a recognition for him as both teams now come to the center of the field, and then the NYPD squad walking over, and we'll let the pictures take it from here. It's the Enforcers head coach, Jason Slater.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask the honorees to please join the enforcers and administration at the 50-yard line. If both the enforcers and finalists, along with any exempt members in attendance, can cover down on the respective hash. Although we battle on this field, both police and fire departments place the safety of others above their own, knowing the inherited risk. With encountering the tragedies that occur daily, first responders and the first in contact with families that are impacted by violence. Our honorees have endured a tragedy that mere words cannot console. Both the enforcers and NYPD finalists would like to celebrate the life and legacy of all impacted. Dion J. Williams was a bright and joyful 13-year-old from the south side of Chicago whose life was tragically cut short on March 9th, 2019 in an accidental shooting. Described by his father, Donald Williams, as a good kid still learning. Deion's untimely passing left a profound void in his family and community. Determined to honor Deion's memory, Donald founded the Deion J. Williams Foundation, dedicated to combating gun violence and supporting affected families. Rooted in the Englewood community, the foundation works to foster peace, safety, and hope for Chicago's youth. The foundation supports legislative efforts advocating stricter penalties for juvenile gun offenses alongside education, mentorship, and mental health resources. Together, these initiatives honor Deion's legacy by driving change and empowering communities. The Foundation's mission is a promise to build a brighter, safer future where every life is valued and every dream is possible. Deion's story is a powerful reminder of the urgent need to protect our children and build a future where every child can grow up safe, loved, and full of potential. Please join us in welcoming Donald Williams and the Ogden Park Vikings youth football team as we pledge our support to the mission of the Deion J. Williams Foundation. On April 25th, 2026, Officer John Bartholomew and his partner, Officer Nelson Crespo, were performing a prison detail at Swedish Hospital when a convicted felon who was on pretrial release from a previous vehicular carjacking produced a weapon and fatally wounded Officer Bartholomew. Officer Crespo was also struck by gunfire and is still fighting for his life in the hospital. Officer Bartholomew was a 10-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department, but more importantly, he was a father and a husband. Officer Bartholomew paid the ultimate price to protect the people of the city of Chicago. His life will forever be remembered and never forgotten. We ask for continued prayers for Officer Crespo and both families as they navigate these unforeseen times. We now honor them with a moment of silence. The enforcers would like to thank the NYPD finest who are presenting 2 plaques to the enforcers to be presented to the family of Police Officer Bartholomew and Police Officer Crespo. Please remain standing as both teams honor our honorees and their families.
It's a beautiful tribute honoring Officer Bartholomew and Officer Crespo. And last game, we honored firefighter Mike Altman of Truck 47, but this week also a tragedy suffered when fire engineer Stephen Decker of Engine 71 suffered a medical emergency during a hose testing and passed away this week. And we pray for all their families as they forge ahead and enjoy the memories of their lives and all the blessings they shared upon their families and all their friends. This is why we play this football, though. We raise the money to support the charities and to honor the legacies of all these members, that they'll never be forgotten.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Officer Bartholomew, the 7th police officer in the last 5 years here in the city of Chicago, killed in the line of duty. Let's bring in our 3rd member of the broadcast team, Tommy Gilbert, who is down on the field. Tommy, beautiful day for football, a critical game for both squads.
A beautiful day is absolutely the case down here. Thank you, Mike and Mike. I am Tommy Gilbert. I'll be roaming the sidelines for you all game. And as you look at that beautiful tribute and the beautiful ceremony just now before the game, it is a solemn reminder that, well, you're about to see a great football game played out on a field between 2 big-time rivals from 2 of America's 3 biggest cities. The reason that we're here is far more than that. So many people out there idolize NFL players, college football players, but these are heroes who play football who are here that you'll get to see today. And really, outside of the Fun City Bowl, Mike, this is possibly one of the couple biggest rivalry games you'll see this year. As you guys covered before the ceremony, it is a rematch of last year's NPSFL championship game. And for those who might not follow the league super closely, NYPD has not surrendered more than 6 points in a regular season game in the last 2 years. Chicago put up 26 last year in the title game. So very much the Chicago offense has a chance to put some points on the board today against a really stout defense. We talk again, about the weather and the role that it can play in football, which is, you're not used to seeing football played in May. 2 weeks ago when we covered Chicago in their battle against the fire department of New York, it was a beautiful football evening. It was probably 51, 52, and it was football weather. This is not. It is 81 degrees on the field. The sun is beating down here at historic Barta Dowling Stadium here at Mount Carmel. And as you look behind me, you'll see on the far sideline right under the press box, that is the Chicago sideline. They have some shade over there. They've got some place where they can take refuge. The entire sideline is probably about 6 yards wide, as they're very space confined here at Mount Carmel, but they have space. New York, on the other end, they will be out in the sun the entire game. That can absolutely have an effect, especially when you're playing in pads. I'm already down here probably for 15 or 20 minutes now, and it is getting a little toasty. So we'll have to make sure that everyone's staying hydrated down here, certainly, and you'll have to watch the role that fatigue and maybe cramping can play in this game. Mike and Mike looking forward to a great rivalry on a field just dedicated to all of our heroes here from both sides, and it'll be a wonderful game. I'm looking forward to covering it with you.
And with that, let's take a look at our player spotlight. And Mike, you are absolutely right. Cramping will be an issue today with the temperatures sitting at 82 degrees here at kickoff time.
Yeah, we can only hope that proper hydration occurred for leading up to this game, and make sure they had a lot of bananas, because the monkeys never cramp.
Now you see their wide receiver, Chris McGrain, having a nice season. New York Police Department. He's a police officer. Played the post from 2011 to 2014. He's playing in his 7th season here with the finest. He will be one of the go-to guys for NYPD here this afternoon. As we are ready for football, the coin toss was won, and NYPD has elected to receive the football. Mike, big football game, winner on their way to the NPSFL championship.
A lot of energy in this game, a lot on the line, as you brought up earlier. This is going to be a great, great football game today. Everybody's going to bring everything they got onto this field, and I'm looking forward to a really spectacular game.
Chicago dressed in their white tops, white pants with that light blue trim and the navy blue helmets. They'll be kicking off to NYPD, and we are underway as it is fielded. And it'll be taken first down and 10 at the 25-yard line. The NYPD offense takes the field, and they will begin this afternoon's affair with the football.
And they got a big front line with Vogel, McNair, Kelly, Finlay, and Martinez pushing that offensive line. Kunalin and the quarterback is produced regularly. Great, great ball player, calls good games. It's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to fare this year.
Quinlan, a talented and a well-respected NYPD football player in his long, illustrious career here with NYPD Finest. As they'll start at their own 40-yard line. They'll hand it off on the ground and straight ahead for a chunk of 8 yards as the fullback plows his way close to midfield. Justin Felder, the ball carrier for NYPD.
And that defensive line for the enforcers is going to be Ento, Bell, Simmons, and Drew. Egan's and Birchfield on the corners. And that secondary is very well stacked. It's going to be a good competition today.
Back to the ground they go and swallowed up by that front.
That D-line put a good stop hopefully they learn their lesson after that first play.
Well, look, that Chicago defense, as you touched on earlier up front, boy, they are strong. You know, when they played FDNY 2 weeks ago, FDNY found some running lanes on that right side for primarily the first quarter. But then the Enforcers kind of swallowed it up a little bit. But, boy, they have got some tough customers up front. 3rd and short now. They'll run it to the left side. Swallowed up and dropped way back. Oh, baby, what a stop. Benjamin Little.
Big stop by Little on that one. Man, they read that really, really well. They are really executing early really well. You can see they started out real good, but Little just came in. He read that perfectly and put that stop in that backfield really, really wonderfully.
And Chicago with an opening statement on defense. After that first 8-yard gain, a 2nd and 3 turns into a 4th and 3, and NYPD finest lining up to punt it away. Clean snap and a good punt. Ruffin with the fair catch at the 17-yard line. And with that, let's take a look at the Chicago offense as they take to the field for the first time this afternoon.
So led by Adam Tapling, a former policeman, now firefighter on Engine 14. This front line is a really great front line. A lot of young guys, a couple old guys too, because there's not a lot of depth in the offensive linemen these days. But they've executed very well historically. They put together a good package. Let's hope Tapling overcomes an NYPD defense.
Boy, the marquee guy there you see on the right side, Ruffin, Brandon Ruffin. He has been electric with the 2 seasons he's played here for the Enforcer. Kudzia, another talented wide receiver, as Chicago gets their first crack of the afternoon. Underneath, incomplete, intended for Trent Yancey. Hey, look, the NYPD finest defense. No slouch either.
No, definitely very, very, very well stacked defensive line. Evans, Weiss, Odesse, Effinger. Their secondary is no joke either. They've, I believe, what is the NYPD allowed this year in points? 6 points, no more than 6 points in a game. So hopefully the Enforcers overcome this.
Yeah, you like the under in this one. All right, Tapling from 2nd down and 10. And he'll give it to the first time to Pascasio. And he is eaten up after a short gain on the play. That defensive front penetrating early on the first 2 plays.
Both D-lines came to play today, and this is just a testament to the quality of coaching on these teams and the quality of the players as well. NYPD read that real well. They put a good stop to it.
Boy, they sure did. Leading the charge, Matthew Weiss, that defensive lineman wearing number 70. And that tackle sets up a 3rd down and long. Boy, you know, it's early. If you're Chicago, no need to force anything here.
The rhythm will come, as proven with both teams.
So that's what hurt FDNY a couple of weeks ago with the multiple turnovers. Tapling to throw. Single coverage. Ruffin, he's got it. First down, Chicago.
And a great battery between these two, Tapling and Ruffin. They execute consistently.
Brandon Ruffin, the rock star out of River Valley Juvie. Boy, was he something last year. He was something last week, and he made his presence felt early here today.
They got good distance. Tapling read that just right. He was exactly where he needed to be, got good separation from that defender, and he got a nice big gain.
Nice touch by Tapling, as we'll take a look at the keys to victory after this play here. Out to the near side, got him in, there's Yancey, and a nice tackle made. Boy, wrapped him up nicely. That was Earl Lucas after a gain of about 5. Now, what are the keys to the game here, Mike Curry? This is a big football game in the standings here today.
It sure is. That secondary is executing real well for NYPD, and luckily the Enforcers are making bites at this apple and putting some good yardage down on the field.
Second down and about 5 here. A big first down on 3rd and 10. And then a 5-yard gain on first down. So Chicago with the same. Oh, bad snap. Tapling able to corral it. Busted play now. Pascasio trying to make the most of it. He's driven down hard. Loss of play of 2 on the play. How about Mark Thomas for the finest with an excellent stop there.
That was really good, and Pascasio and Tapling really came through with that little errant snap there, and made something of nothing on that little play. It could have been a lot worse.
And nowhere to go for the ball carrier. Boy, Tapley showing solid athleticism, able to corral that. Chicago with something cooking here. Tapling able to keep the drive going. 3rd and manageable for Chicago. 3rd down and about 5 and change. At the finest 45. They're going to go trips far side. Finest rushing 4. Pressure underneath, got a man. Oh, it's dropped. Oh, Pascasio had plenty of green in front of him.
He was wide open on that one. That was a great pattern that they ran. And luckily the secondary of NYPD left him wide open.
4th and 6 for CPD enforcement.
As we watch this, he just shot out of that backfield wonderfully, and it was a great execution. Could have materialized. It would have been wonderful.
Boy, he had plenty of running room once he would have squared the shoulders. But instead, it's 4th down now and 6. First 4th down of the afternoon for either squad. Rolling Tapling off his back foot, and it is intercepted. NYPD comes up with the stop.
There's quite a bit of chaos in that secondary on that play.
Now NYPD able to get the stop on the interception.
A couple of steps, that could have been a different story, but he threw right into a really crowded secondary. Now it's NYPD's turn.
So after that drop pass on 3rd down, that's the seam the finest have, and they're going to run it to the right side. And again, that Chicago defense, oh, like a school of angry piranhas to the football, able to get the stop.
That Benjamin Little put that stop on pretty good. He read that, he pursued that ball really, really well.
They're going to give him a yard on the play. So 2nd down and 9. Tell you, after this play, we want to go downstairs to Tommy Gilbert and talk about the defensive line for both squads, just with control early on here. Love to get his perspective from field level. Rolling and throwing, and that one incomplete. Downstairs to our field reporter, Tommy Gilbert. Tommy Gilbert. Third down now and 9. And now a timeout taken. And let's keep it here. This will just be a 30-second timeout. And a scoreless football game. Boy, folks, the Gary Sinise Foundation, proud supporters here of the Enforcers and the NPSFL. The Gary Sinise Foundation, serving the nation by honoring veterans, first responders, their families, and those in need. The Gary Sinise Foundation creates and supports unique programs designed to entertain, educate, inspire, strengthen, and build communities. While we can never do enough for our nation's heroes, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise Foundation. So 3rd down and long. Rushing 4. Going home run, single coverage, and it's caught. Hauled in at the 25-yard line. Oh, brother. Kyle Johnson skies high to the Chicago sky and pulls it down for a 1st down.
Well, he ran that route really, really well. He defeated that coverage and got the man-on-man and just got the height to get that ball. As he drops back, he's looking all over that field for somebody. He finds him.
Mike Quinlan put it right on the money, too, in single coverage. And the first big play for the offense is to the finest as they are knocking on the door to the red zone. On the ground and swallowed up on the tackle for Chicago is Carlin Ento. Downstairs to Tommy Gilbert. Tommy, that defensive line for both squads, very effective early on.
Yeah, they certainly are. We've seen pretty impressive battles in the trenches thus far. One of the things that you really experience from standing over on this New York sideline is one of the things that you see on so many successful teams at every single level of football and really any sport, a singular focus on that next play right after the huge 4th down interception by Ifeanyi Eme. There was a celebration that lasted probably 5 seconds over here, and then immediately the call from about 5 players is plays over. We're moving on. How are we going to succeed when we get back out on the field? They're talking in particular about the stunts being run by Chicago's offensive line and how they're going to counteract that. The focus over here is absolutely unmatched in these first 5 or 6 minutes of the game. Mike, back up to you.
Timothy Bell, the defensive lineman, Chicago police officer out of District 22, on the stop for Chicago there. 3rd down and long now for the finest.
Tim Bell, longtime player with the Enforcers, really read that just right. He contained as best as he should have, and luckily put a good stop to that.
So Quinlan will bark out the signals here. 3 receiver set. Chicago linebackers drop back in coverage. They'll end around to the near side. Can he turn the corner? And he's bottled up by a host of guys. Only a couple of guys. Randall Maxey stayed at home, and then Pat Egan able to put the finishing touches along with Jalen Woods.
Boy, you know, a real common thread on a play like that is a lot of guys get sucked in and don't contain like they should. And luckily, the Enforcers contained as they should have and prevented a wide open run there.
So Thomas Zabransky on to attempt a field goal here to open up the scoring. This will be a 37-yard attempt. Just past the midway point of the first period, and the finest attempting to draw first blood. Low snap, it's down, kick on the way, and it is right down Broadway. NYPD with the game's first points. They lead it 3-0. This is the NPSFL on YouTube.
35-yard.
As we thank all who have served, we also renew our commitment to those who need us most. Together, we can ensure that our severely wounded veterans have homes where their service is honored each and every day. To all our veterans, we salute you, we thank you, and we stand with you, always.
And back here at Mount Carmel High School in Chicago on the city's south side, where the finest get a 37-yard field goal from their kicker, Thomas Zabransky. And the finest lead it by a score of 3-0. So the Chicago defense held, and credit Zabransky with I mean, that thing would have been good from 47 yards.
Both these defenses have really executed perfectly today. They are putting up a good front for anything that's coming at them.
Let's see what Zabransky has off the tee here. He's kicking it from the 35. Steps into it, and it's a line drive kick. That will head out of bounds. Let's take a look at a player spotlight here as we look at the NPSFL and some keys to the game. Jalen Woods.
Jalen Woods, he gave him a second chance with his first love, and he locked in a laser focus in each game. He's a good DB. He really executes very well. He is a Chicago police officer. He played both football and track at Thornton Fractional South, one of our suburbs, and ran track at Southern Illinois and Chicago State. Brings a lot of great talent to this team.
I mean, he is really fantastic. You see the wheels that he displays out here on the turf. Well, he was everywhere in that game 2 weeks ago against FDNY. Good football game here. Boy, these are two proud programs that have been just stellar participants in the win column here in the history of the NPSFL. On the ground to the big fella, straight ahead, and not much there. And that is one of the oldest players in the NFL, Dave Moore, on the carry.
Dave Moore, number 34, had been playing for, I believe, 19 years with the Enforcers back from when I played as well. And that is the second longest carry by a 49-year-old this season.
49 years old, and he has to get up and go to work tomorrow.
That's correct. I couldn't do it. God bless him for his continued athleticism and dedication to his craft.
My goodness, 49 years old. Dave Moore out of District 7 of the Chicago Police Department. Well, it's going to have to be Tapling's arm, or at least that's the MO right now. Let's see what he does here. Going to throw to the near side, got a man. First down, Chicago. Catch is made by Trent Yancey. They needed 9, he picked up 12.
Trent Yancey always open where he needs to be. He's really coming together really well.
Boy, Yancey, you talk about a comeback moment 2 weeks ago against FDNY, dropped an open pass on 3rd and 8, would have had a first down. Chicago gets the first down a play later with Yancey skying up for a catch. And that turned the tables, and Chicago, they were able to cruise to victory lane over FDNY. But that was arguably the most pivotal play of the game 2 weeks ago. Well, Chicago moving the ball a little bit. Fresh set of downs from the finest 45. Pressure coming, picked up. Tappling underneath, got a man, plenty of yards. 40, 30 out of bounds, 27-yard line. Birchfield on the catch. The Zion Benton police officer. Tapley showing terrific composure in the pocket here so far.
And, you know, the NYPD defense is really giving the offensive line here a challenge. But Tapling's keeping his composure and finding that outlet. And luckily, Birchfield ran that route, got where he needed to be, and executed really well.
Hey, credit Jelani Edmond, too, the left side of that offensive line to pick up that safety blitz to give Tapling that extra 2 seconds he needed.
Fun fact, Jelani Edmond is 6'9" tall while wearing 69.
Tapling out to the near side, incomplete. Second down and 10.
And another shining moment of knowing when you're getting old, I used to work with Ronnie Edmonds' dad.
The Enforcers Golf Committee will be producing their annual golf outing in September 2026. Please contact an enforcer to secure your foursome. They're a great sponsor.
Second down and 10 now.
Don't miss out. It is a tremendous event.
Three minutes to go here in the first period. They'll go trips again to the far side. Tappling on the ground to Bastasio, and he picks up a couple. Swallowed up by that defensive line. Again, big number 70, Matthew Weiss on the stop.
Yeah, number 70, Weiss, he's a good D lineman. He gets moving around, gets involved in all them plays.
So 3rd down and 8 now for Chicago. 2 for 5 on 3rd down so far here this afternoon, early on first quarter. Now you think they're in 4-down territory here regardless. Pasasio, the lone setback, stays in the block. Taplin going to the near corner for Ruffin. And it is incomplete as he ran out of real estate on that near sideline. Brandon Ruffin, electric last year for them, for the Enforcers. And again, a marquee piece to this offense here again. So 4th down and 8, and Chicago will go for it. Ball resting at the finest 28-yard line. What do you look for here, Mike?
Oh, we're going to look for Taplin to find open. He's going to get probably a Trent Yancey run out, and that last one, that could have been the game changer right there, set the momentum on the Enforcer side.
He's looking down, going to Ruffin, near corner. Incomplete. Boy, Taplin did a nice job looking off, came right back, went to Ruffin.
Sure did. He switched that up real well. Ruffin was in a mix of a couple of defenders there, though, but
see how he looked him off, then he fired right. And just out of the outstretched arms of Ruffin.
Just a bit outside.
So a turnover on downs, the finest will take over. Boy, right now the big play in this game was that drop pass.
Oh, that
a previous series ago.
That could have been so beneficial for the Enforcers. It really could have turned the tide marvelously. But both defenses are executing incredibly well today.
Now run it back to the ground. And a nice ankle tackle from behind by Carlin Ento out of District 8 for CPD. Boy, he has some wheels.
Game of 6, tackle made by Carlin Enzo.
On the ground again, and Chicago's front swallows them up on the play. Well, you talk about these players, Mike, they do not receive any financial or time support. I mean, this is all organic, only possible with sponsors and support, as each player does this on his own time and dime.
That's correct. And from when I played back then, I mean, we have to hustle. We have to get sponsorships from different restaurants, bars, companies, organizations. And it's all a charity thing because all the money raised is donated to the different charities. And when I played, it was on working midnights with little kids at home. But you got to want it. And the love of the game is what brings these guys out here.
Inside of a minute to go here in the first quarter, as you see the finest on a 37-yard Zabransky field goal with the only points of the game. Quinlan rolling, throwing, he's got a man, that's a first down. Boy, way to roll out, sell it, and he finds Sean O'Banheim, the tight end. Boy, held the block nicely, spun out, caught for a first down.
Definitely good release on that one. Didn't get tied up too long, but they drew that play out really, really well.
But you look there, you see Quinlan just stretching it like he can, and that's a first down.
After the first quarter.
You know, you talk about the sponsorship opportunities and the need for more to truly reach the levels that the NPSFL strives for. Here at the NPSFL network, back to the ground, they run it again. See him on the right side, plenty of room across midfield, spinning down to the 42-yard line. That is a finest first down. Justin Fielder on the carry.
Yeah, Justin Felder, a good success story. Overcame a lot of adversity during college with an injury and came back and is really, really making a good difference.
And that'll do it for the first quarter here from Mount Carmel High School in Chicago, Illinois. The Finest lead the Enforcers 3-0. You're watching the NPSFL Network.
Boy in Jamaica, I saw a firefighter climb into a burning building, put out the fire, and I knew then that's what I wanted to do. My Pro B class was the first class after 9/11. Well, I played football in college as well, so as soon as I got on the job, even as a Pro B, guys were like, all right, listen, you gotta play for the football team. Our second year went to the championship and won against LA Fire, so it was a lot of fun. It's a whole different type of family concept. It's very cool. Fire duty is what we sign on for, but there's so many avenues on this job. As a mentor, I pay it forward by being consistent and leading by example. If you want to become a leader in the greatest fire department in the world, join the FDNY. It's hard work, but it's the best decision you'll ever make.
Start of the second quarter here in Chicago. Downstairs to our field reporter, Tommy Gilbert.
Thanks, Mike. And there is definitely some concern on the Chicago sideline right now about being overly reliant on the deep ball. I think a lot of that, and you guys have a better view of the field than I do from many angles, but a lot of that comes from when they're running an RPO. Adam Tapling's best look right now is down the field. There's not a lot open right now with this great defensive line of the Finest. Not a lot of running room for either Tapling, Bryant Piscasio, or any of the other Chicago Enforcers ball carriers. So they've almost been forced to try to take the 20 or 25-yard deep shot. Of course, between Ruffin and Yancey, you've got a couple of great weapons down there. But look for Chicago to try to get some more plays open in the flats, Mike.
Ball, ball, ball. Chicago says they have it.
Jason and Guido with the recovery on that one. Let's watch this and see where it fell apart.
Chicago comes up with the turnover, the first of the game. Oh, second, beg your pardon. NYPD with a pick. First one for Chicago. Tommy, what did you see down there?
You know, I was still finishing my report for you, Mike, and I cut out when I heard the roar of the crowd behind me. It did look like from the end of the play that I caught that Chicago recovered the football. I thought I saw Nguida's number coming out of there as well, but it is all the way across the field from me. Regardless, our second turnover of the game on the first play of the second quarter. And right now, like I said, Chicago has struggled to find room along the line. In particular, they've had to take a lot of deep shots, and we'll see what they come out with here in the second quarter in terms of offensive packages.
Excellent field position for the Enforcers as they tickle midfield. And they'll hand it off, a sweep, little jet sweep to the right side. Can they turn the corner? Birchfield dropped for a loss.
Those corners contained real nicely on that one. Dante could have gone outside, but they read him just right, and they put a good stop to him.
Dante Birchfield on the jet sweep, gain of nothing.
And Birchfield just did not get that block he needed. And credit a couple of guys, but boy, Mark Ricketts, open field tackle there. But if he gets by Ricketts, he's got 7 or 8 before he runs into more trouble.
Yeah, Mark Ricketts really read that play very well.
Strong safety pinch second time. And boy, he is an aggressive player. Blitzes and then can cover ground in the open field. Second down and 10 on the ground. Pistachio, can he turn the corner? And he's inside the 50. Hit it hard. Oh, baby, what a stick. Woo. Young, Mustafa Young. On a gang tackle there by the Finest.
Yeah, he was running hard. He was running that line all the way down to the sideline. And that NYPD line, they really read him. They just kept sticking with him.
They credit Anthony Lombardi to force Piscasio a little wide, which bought more time for the linebackers to seal over for a short gain.
These defenses are truly executed perfectly today on both sides of the ball.
So 3rd and 8. Rushing 5. Taplin got a man, Yancey. Now can he dance? He does! Inside the 40, down to the 35-yard line. First down, Chicago.
Gain about 15 for a first down for our CPD Enforcers.
Tell you, Yancey runs them routes so quickly, he just gets away from any coverage. Wide open on that one, just about. The closest guy was 5 yards off. He turned it back up to get that first down. Hopefully bring some momentum forward for the Enforcers.
Yancey, a wide receiver, Chicago fireman. Boy, he has been a staple for this offense again this year.
The Bureau of Internal Affairs, Timothy Moore, and Chief of Office of Constitutional Policy and Reform, Angel Novales.
So first down and 10, Chicago off the turnover. Marching deeper into the finest territory. On the ground past Ascio. He's got a seam down to the 30, gain of 5.
That line opened up that hole marvelously for him.
Pascasio up the middle.
Pascasio continues to chip away through that middle throughout the whole game. Keep taking hits left and right, but he don't stop.
The game's only scoring was a Thomas Zabransky first quarter 37-yard field goal.
Say Tommy's second yards.
Finest will rush 4. Second and manageable. On the ground they run it. Past Ascio again, and he's swallowed up for a short gain, if any.
Pascasio up the left side, loss of 1.
Looked like number 3, Kendall Clark. He filled that gap really well. He just came in and put a stop to him, but Pascasio always chisels up that middle.
Did you say Tommy that lost his signal?
So from the 33-yard line here, third down and 7.
Did Doyle tell me that Tommy had lost his signal, or was I misunderstanding?
Tackling, straight back to Pascasio to the near side with the catch, and he is dropped immediately again. But is it enough for a first down? I don't know. I think he's short, Mike.
I think they're going to be a little short on that one. He got out there really well in that out pattern, but it's going to be 4th and 3 maybe, I think.
Another open field tackle. Boy, the finest. Boy, they don't miss on open field tackles.
No, they don't. They're doing a great job of covering areas.
What do you look for here, Mike? 4th and about a short 3.
It's going to probably be a Pascasio up the middle. Chisel away. I hope Dave Moore's in there, the oldest guy on the field right now.
Is he a decoy? They're going to give it to him. Single coverage on Ruffin to the near side.
You know, he's a beast going through that middle. I think they're going to run it right up. I think Dave Moore, the Hercules powerhouse, is going to come through. No,
he's
there
going.
you go.
He's got Ruffin with the catch. First down, Chicago.
There you go,
at
right
the
to Ruffin.
19-yard line.
Good execution of Ruffin. Good decoy with Dave Moore.
Ruffin for a first down for a CPD Enforcers.
What a big play. The poise by Tapling. And Ruffin saw it all the way in, cradled it, as you'll see here.
I tell you, Tapling's got this great patience and great control about him, where he just takes the time that the O-line gives him, and he really executes wonderfully. He always materializes when it needs to happen. And that was a good gain.
A fresh set of downs for Chicago as they now get inside the red zone. At the finest 19, Moore stays in at the running back slot. Tapling, rolling, got a man in the seam, it's caught! Inside the 15, down to the 12-yard line. Robert Kudzia on the catch, there's a marker down.
And Rob Kudzia came across really well on that one, but we got a flag down. Let's see what that's going to turn into. Well, that's against the Enforcers.
And this will be coming back. Offensive pass interference on the Enforcers. Boy, Tapling threaded the needle there as well.
He really did. Good. NYPD keeps giving good coverage in that secondary, putting up a hard challenge for Tapling, but he always maintains his composure and keeps finding them targets.
Costly penalty for Chicago, as this will back them up quite a bit. Boy, remember, folks, the NPSFL and the network. If you're interested in a partnership, sponsorships, contact Andy Singleton, the Director of Marketing, at npsfl.network@gmail.com. That's npsfl.network@gmail.com. But how do you not get and support, get behind these police and firemen and first responders? Pocket closing, Tapling going to the near corner, and it's intercepted at the 9-yard line. Looked like Mustafa Young on the pick.
Who's he intended for? Trent Yancey again?
Number 32, Mustafa Young.
Man, it was just a little off the mark, not by a whole lot at all. But again, this secondary for NYPD keeps executing.
Once again, the enforcers offer multiple levels of sponsorship. Please contact your enforcer today and see how you can join the enforcer family.
So the finest with the football. Nursing a 3-0 lead, second Chicago turnover. And now let's see what Quinlan does with his crew here. They'll run it on the ground, and again, there's a big stop up front. Boy, that defensive line, again, continues to be dominant. You talk about the NYPD. Well, there's a good-looking kid right there.
Sure is. I'm not even going to try to butcher his name. God bless him, but man, a New York police officer. He played at the State of New York Cortland campus. Is his 4th season with the finest.
Goes by M.
I would too.
And he is another terrific NYPD finest contributor here in this 2026 campaign. Both teams 3-0. Winner punches their ticket to the NPSFL championship game. A lot on the line this afternoon from Chicago. Quinlan to the air in single coverage. Broken up nicely by Jalen Woods. Intended receiver was Brian Dice Jr. Now the Chicago defense has them right where they want them. 3rd down and long, backed up in their own end. If you're Chicago and get a stop here, you're going to get the ball back in excellent field position.
Yes, we do.
If they could put a good stop to him right now, this could be a big momentum shifter. But as we found out last year, NYPD, they can come back right out with all the energy they had at the beginning of the game, too. Well, let's hope the enforcers put a good stop right on this one.
So 3rd down and 10. See how the finest play their hand here. They're going to go for it from his own end zone. Flushed right, pressure coming. Stiff arms a man. Down to the near sideline. Incomplete. Good coverage on the play by Woods, as well as by Dante Birchfield.
Pass intended for Kyle Johnson, incomplete. Tied up 4th and 10.
And those enforcers really put they put a lot of pressure on him. They really made him hustle for that spot.
Well, Chicago did what they had to do defensively. You see the nice stiff arm, then the pass downfield, just nowhere for Quinlan to go. Did the right thing, just threw it and kept it out of harm's way.
It's good hustle by Quinlan, but the enforcer, they put too much pressure on him to execute that the way they needed to.
Now Mike Sheridan going to punt from his own end zone, so some pressure here. Fine is counting numbers to make sure they've got everybody matched up. Everybody needs to catch a white jersey here. Low snap, and the punt is away, and it's a dandy. Oh, brother, and he gets the roll. Bounces at the 45 and rolls to the Chicago 38. Boy, money kick by Mike Sheridan.
Looks like Anthony Miner on the enforcers got in there pretty deep. Just not enough in time to put a hand on that ball.
Globe Life Insurance provides accidental and supplemental health coverage for first responders for the times we least expect it. It's peace of mind coverage for on and off the job, including accidents and injury, ICU stays, cancer, heart attacks, and strokes. Contact National Rep Paige Drain for your free quote. That's Globe Life Insurance, proud partners with the NPSFL. Well, Sheridan tilted the field. Boy, that punt from his 11. Where did they punt it down to the 38-yard line?
He got a great roll on that. That ball, that went exactly where he needed it to go.
The middle for 3 yards.
That was a 51-yard punt. And the Finest needed that. Midway through this second quarter, 3-0 game off the Zabransky 37-yard field goal for NYPD. Winner to the NPSFL title game. Everything on the line again. These two teams met a year ago in New York for the NPSFL title. And the Finest came out on top. Tapling going to throw it. It's got a seam. Has a man. First down. Chicago toward midfield. On the catch. Robert Kudzia again.
You know, Tapling took his time. The whole line gave him a lot of time to work on that one. And then threw that right to where it needed to be. Good cover, good opening.
Boy, Kudzia had that clock in his head, waiting for that ball. Made sure to corral it first before he squared the shoulders and was able to muscle a couple of yards after the catch. The Finest at midfield now.
A testament to the good relationship Tapling and his receivers have. They work so well together.
Kudzia with the Kudzia family welcoming a child to the world a couple of weeks ago. First down and 10, Chicago. Tapling pumps right, comes back to the near side. Incomplete. Andrew Pena, the Des Plaines police officer, the intended receiver. The drops for Chicago are mounting up.
Unfortunately, they are. That was a Featherstone-esque attempt he had there. But he was open enough to get it. It just didn't execute perfectly for him.
Yeah, you've got to haul that ball in. Look, the Finest is not giving up much. And Tapling is yeoman's work, threading the needle, under pressure. Receivers got to pick up on their end here. And a marker down and a false start on Chicago. And this will back them up 5 more. I remember the players do not receive any financial or time support. This is all organic, Mike Murray.
Yeah, you know, every team is a 501c3 charity organization, and there's adamant bookkeeping involved here, and donations are made. They support charities throughout youth leagues, different types of organizations to do good. So we do good on and off the field. It's all about making their communities better.
Mike Curry to my left, I'm Mike Fraser. Robert Williamson, our producer and engineer. Anthony Coletta. And Tommy Gilbert, here from Mount Carmel High School in Chicago. Pass down to the near sideline. That one hauled in. Andrew Pena with the catch. That gets it back to the original line of scrimmage. And maybe a little more. We'll call it 3rd and 9.
That was a good recovery from the last one, but sometimes all it takes is once.
So you see the coverage, just how fast the linebackers and safeties are. They are ball hawks for the Finest.
Yeah, that NYPD secondary is not giving up a whole lot of room.
So 3rd down now and long. Interesting, does Chicago play the field game if they don't get a first down here? Tapling's saying, forget about that. We're going to pick up the first down here. Rolling right. Pressure. Out to the far side. And that one incomplete. Kudzia, the intended receiver. What are you going to do here, Mike Curry?
That's a tough one. You know, it's could be a tap and punt, but in the middle of the field, it could go either way. They could try to air it out. They're not going to lose a whole lot in the process.
Now, does Tapling punt it here on that quick snap? You know, he's done that before. It looks like that's what he might be doing here. Well, we'll see. 4th down and 9. What will Chicago do? Will they quick punt it, or will they run the play? And he's going to punt it away. And it's blocked. It carries out of bounds inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. Timeout on the field. 3-0 Finest. This is the NPSFL Network.
The enforcers would like to thank Sports and Ortho.
Quinlan to the air, that one incomplete. The Finest with the lead, 2nd down and 10. As we come to you from Mount Carmel High School on the south side of Chicago. Mount Carmel, a proud Chicago Catholic League school. Interesting note about Mount Carmel. They have an approximately 600, they just had graduation last week. Their enrollment is at around 600. 83 of those students at Mount Carmel have parents that are first responders. Largest in the Catholic League in a school, or in a league that has 25 teams. Quinlan rolling, throwing out to the far flat, has a man. Good chunk of yardage on a big 2nd down play. Brian Dice Jr. hauls it in to set up a 3rd and short.
He got himself open real well on that one.
But you're really seeing the footwork by both Quinlan and Tapling, the respective quarterbacks from the Finest and the Enforcers. These guys are very meticulous as they toss it downfield. You see here the footwork here. Look at it, rolling left, bounces out.
High level of athleticism in both of them, considering their ages.
That was good defensive coverage. Ball. It's deflected, incomplete. Well, that was big, number 90, Canton Drew. We've called his name a lot this year.
We sure have. Canton Drew always seems to be in the middle of what needs to be done there. With his tall stature, putting them arms up, really made a good difference on that play.
Well, Drew, a Chicago Fire Department man. Well, he was terrific for them last year. And he has not missed a beat. So 4th down and short for the Finest. So gut check moment here for the defense. You get a stop, you've got a great field position. The Finest, they get a 1st down. They chew that 2nd quarter clock down some more.
You know, can't put it against Felder driving up the middle on this one with his ability.
Quinlan rolling, gonna try to get it himself. He's got the 1st down at the 49-yard line of CPD. Marker down, hold everything. Holding against the Finest, it's coming back. Oh, brother.
Oh, that really helped the Enforcers on that one.
Now the Enforcers were penalized earlier on an offensive pass interference, and here, there you see the hold right there.
Yeah, Jaime Martinez, number 75, held on that one. Good effort. Too bad he got caught.
The under is looking strong here again tonight.
And these two teams consistently battle so beautifully. It's just a perfect pairing.
Sheridan to punt under pressure. Block. Chicago has it at the NYPD 39.
Carlinento got his hands on that one.
Well, they almost got Sheridan last time. This time they come through. The cavalry comes through with the block.
One lineman lived his lifelong dream of recovering that one. Anthony Ruba, Chicago fireman.
So the penalty now looms larger for the finest. The Enforcers with a 1st and 10 at the finest 40. 3 timeouts in their hip pocket as we come down toward 3 minutes to go in the half. Ruffin with some room. Ruffin to the 35, and again a swarming tackle. There's Earl Lucas.
Pass complete to number 19, Brandon Ruffin, gain of 5.
Yeah, Tapling remaining his composure even when that end was coming in on him, but executed perfectly to Ruffin.
I don't think the finest have missed an open field tackle yet this afternoon. Pick up a 5 for Chicago as they march down to the finest 35. Pascasio in the backfield, on the ground to him, straight up. Can he bounce outside? He does. Gets it down close to a 1st down. About a half a yard shy possibly here, Mike.
Yeah, there was a good stop there. Good stop, but he found that opening. And cut it up.
Boy, kept those legs churning. Watch him here, Mike. Watch out. Gets hit at the line of scrimmage, and just watch. He keeps the thighs and the legs pumping.
Right, only hurts when you stop, man. He just kept hustling, kept moving them feet. That's a good backfield play.
Oh, he is a good-looking player. Cook County Sheriff. The running back has been instrumental for this Enforcer squad here in the 2026 campaign. And Chicago now going to take a timeout. Let's go downstairs to our field man, Tommy Gilbert. Tommy, the intensity, well, you feel it up here. It's got to be paramount down there.
The Enforcers Golf Committee will be producing their annual golf outing in September of 2026. Please contact the Enforcer.
Now, Tommy Gilbert is speechless.
There are great sponsorship opportunities as well.
Consumed by the energy.
It's been quite the last couple minutes down here on the sidelines. The intensity really picking up toward the end of the second quarter here. The message on the defensive sideline for NYPD in particular is make sure you are playing 100 miles an hour on every single play. Get off your blocks and play 100 miles an hour. Play 100 miles an hour. That was said 6 or 7 times on the sideline. We will get people in and out. We'll make sure everyone is getting a chance to get on the field so that the guys who are off the field can get some water and get some rest. And the message over there again, if they play fast, Chicago can't play with us. Chicago sideline, however, might have something to say about that because they are feeling very confident right now that they've got a couple of answers on offense. I was just sitting over in the side of the Chicago huddle right now. They're really looking forward to see what Adam Tapling can do with a couple of plays in the flats in particular. NYPD has noticed those flats are frequently open, and they've made some adjustments certainly from the deep balls we saw in the first quarter. Mike?
Thank you, Tommy. Brings up great points, Mike.
He sure does. These two teams are such an even competitor. There's very little edge on either side. It's just who's going to actually hit the mark when the mark needs to be hit.
Tapling with a seam inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. 1st down, Chicago. What a quick snap. Caught the finest flat-footed, it appeared.
Tapling with his incredible athleticism. He can run, he can throw, he reads real well, he remains calm under a lot of pressure, and he really turned that one into a big gain for the Enforcers.
And we'll hear from Jason Slater, the president and the head football coach of the Chicago Enforcers, on his way into the dressing room. We'll have our guy Tommy Gilbert grab that interview with the Enforcers head coach on the way to the dressing room. Tapling to throw. It's got Ruffin inside the 10, and Brandon cradling the football before he's gained tackled. Is that enough for a 1st down? See where they mark it.
Yeah,
it's going to be a 1st and goal.
1st and goal from the 9. They are just chipping away really marvelously on these plays. Ruffin keeps getting open, Yancey keeps getting open, and Tapling, he keeps reading it just perfectly without losing his composure at all.
3 weapons the Enforcers have shown that have proven dividends for him in this first half. Ruffin, Yancey, and Pistachio.
They are a great battery of assets together because he's not limited to just one outlet. He can go in different directions. And then when we put the old man Dave Moore in there, he comes through too, even at his old age.
He pounds the body. What the finest can really do well, and you've seen it out here today, and that is they can ball hawk. They are fast. They can put men on single coverage, and they don't miss tackles. Tampling has been exceptional today at threading the needle, and that's kept the rhythm well moving for Chicago.
It sure has. They are just chipping away consistently. And, NYPD's, their defense is putting up a good front, but both defenses, it's such an even-keeled game back and forth. It's just great to be a part of it. Watch.
First and goal for the 9, the winner to the NPSFL title game as we wind down here in the first half. And a whistle, and they'll call a false start on the Chicago offense. That's Chicago's 3rd penalty of the game, 2nd illegal procedure. And now first and goal from the 9 will become first and goal from the 14.
Did you copy that, Doyle?
The game's only score was a Zabransky 37-yard field goal in the first quarter. And that has stood tall to this point. He's going to send Kudzia far right with Ruffin and Yancey. So trips that way and checking in. Boy, 4 receivers set here. Andrew Pena in there as well. Tampling going to back into the end zone, incomplete. Good coverage on the play. Ruffin the intended receiver, but Earl Lucas, we have called his name quite a bit. He is there on the breakup.
He's being a playmaker. He's where they need him to be when he needs to be there. But again, this low score, this far into the game already, is a good testament to both teams and the caliber of the play that they're both executing.
Well, the finest knows Chicago has to throw it here. 2nd and goal from the 14. So they're going to probably drop their linebackers back here. You got Kudzio and Yancey far right. A pair to the near side. In motion, Ruffin. Tampling far corner to Ruffin, and that incomplete by Lucas. His main objective, he's got Ruffin. That is his #1 priority back there.
And that battery that they have, that relationship that they have, that always executes wonderfully.
Well, if you're Chicago, 3rd and goal from the 14. You try to run it here, maybe pick up 5 or 6 and make it an easier field goal for Lenti. This is a high percentage play here, 3rd and 14.
That's a real hard call because, the defense that NYPD is putting up is really giving them a good stop on the front line. And that secondary, it's a tough one.
Long way to go in this one, but the chess match is long underway between Clive Harding and Jason Slater. And this one incomplete. So now, what will they do? Will they give Lenti a crack at it?
Well, Cafzilla's making his way out onto the field, but
Pass incomplete, sending up 4th down for the CPD.
Remember, you're limited where your HDMI cable is concerned. So you really
And a timeout taken here. Gives us a chance to really talk about it. What do you look for here, Mike Curry? What do you see here?
On this one, like I said, both these teams are putting up a fight against each other. It's such an even keel back and forth on this one. Lenti's coming on out. I don't want to put it out there, but for as many years as he's been playing, his calf keeps putting in all the work that needs to be put in.
It's the ball resting at the 14-yard line. So Lenti on to try a 31-yarder to try to tie it.
And his long snapper, Paul Habiak's played all 21 seasons with the Enforcers. These two with a combined age of 109 right now.
A young 109. Yeah. Vintage. All right, here we go. Lenti from 31 yards away to try to tie it for the Enforcers. And New York's finest going to burn a timeout.
The icing timeout.
Yeah, to let Lenti think about it. The game's only score, a Thomas Zabransky 37-yard field goal in the first period. And now Chicago with their first field goal attempt.
Then these two teams are just so even-keeled playing each other. This is a true football game. The ability on both sides is so equal. It's rare to get a good game like this on such a beautiful day with such great company.
Boy, Lenti nonchalant out there. Nothing phases him. He's talking with the officials, stretching his legs. He's ready. So Chris Lenti, Chicago police officer. And this one will be from 31 yards away. To tie it late first half. Clean snap. Blocked. Loose football. And the Enforcers bust through. Look like Mark Ricketts. Able to block that field goal attempt by Lenti.
Oh, NYPD really pulled one out they needed to.
Now let's see, did somebody miss a block here? It was a clean snap.
Well, from that point of view, it's hard to see.
Just a pressure up front. Now the finest with a couple of timeouts. See what they try to do here. A defensive juggernaut here from the south side of Chicago for the right to play for the NPSFL championship. The finest with a 37-yard first quarter field goal from Zabransky. Quinlan gonna step up and run, has a seam, 30, 40, 45. Late flag thrown. And they'll tack on 15 more for the late hit. That play there was just a poke and discover play, see if something opened up, and it did. And not only did Quinlan scamper for 25 yards, but it appears they're going to tack on 15 more on the late hit by Chicago.
You know, Quinlan's good athleticism gave him that good opportunity. There's just the time on the scoreboard, and coming into the half, good chance they were going to air it out, but
see if we get a replay on that. Was it a late hit? The officials are talking. There is some discussion. We would love to get a look at that last play. You see Quinlan able to run the football. And we don't have the replay, but Quinlan with room, able to get it close to midfield. And it appears they're going to enforce the penalty. But there are 2 fouls on the play. Holding on the finest, personal foul Chicago. So they'll split the difference. It'll be 5 yards from the spot of where the play ended. So they'll mark it somewhere around the 45-yard line of Chicago. So 46 seconds to go in the half. And the finest with a timeout and a fresh set of downs in Chicago territory. The ball resting at the 42 of the Enforcers. Quinlan steps up, gonna run. He's got some green, and his scampers out of bounds somewhere around the Chicago 28. That'll be another Finest first down, and look out, Mike Curry. Here come the Finest.
They are making a big push. You know, Quinlan's ability to find that opening and hole. The Enforcer secondary, though, is putting a lot of pressure on those receivers. They just can't get anybody open, forcing Quinlan to take that run. Problem is, everybody's all so far back reading the pass that there's nobody left to block them.
And look, with the leg of Zabransky, boy, you're feeling pretty good if you can pick up another 6 or 7 yards if you're NYPD. First down, they've got one timeout in their hip pocket. Looking to build on a 3-0 lead late first half. Quinlan gonna step up, take what the defense gives him, and a nice tackle from behind by Canton Drew. Boy, that was a big stop there. Otherwise, Quinlan's probably running for 7 to 10 more.
Easily, again, they keep going for that pass, that wide open. But the secondary for the Enforcers is really, really keeping on their men. And Quinlan's ability, though, to keep running, his athleticism is pretty good.
I think that was the plan all along. Quinlan just taking what he can get, looking, keeping the safeties back, and the big fella with his third solo tackle of the afternoon, Canton Drew, Chicago Fire Department, with the big stop there. And the Finest, they burn another timeout with half a minute to play here. Hey, folks, remember to support the NPSFL network. If you are interested, please contact Andy Singleton, the Director of Marketing at npsfl.network@gmail.com. By the positive community aspects of this league, they present our nation's heroes in a positive light. And there are avenues of this career path that many don't even realize exist. You want to get involved with the police and fire departments across this great nation. This is a place to start. Quinlan gonna go downfield, incomplete. All behind the intended receiver, Sean, the tight end. Sets up a 3rd and long.
Good pressure from the Enforcers. Was that John Simmons? He was coming back there real hard. And he came up just short. And was that Sean O'Bannon?
Good secondary coverage by the Enforcers. Can Quinlan scamper again to get Zabransky closer here on 3rd and 7? You got to think they're going to kick it on 4th down. Quinlan with time, marker down, over the middle, incomplete. There's Jalen Woods on the coverage. Big penalty here. You're Chicago, you're going to back them up here.
That was big for the Enforcers. They're going to push them back. I'm not sure what his range is, but I think it might have just taken him out of it.
They call the holding penalty on the offensive line here. Looked on the outside, see that right guard. I think they nailed Martinez. But what a big play there. So 20 seconds left. Oh, did Chicago decline it? Chicago declined it. So they look, they watched the tape. They know the length of Zabransky. And they don't think he can kick it from this distance. And Jason Slater's correct because Quinlan's going to line up and go for it here on 4th and 7.
Just going to hope they put a stop to Quinlan so they don't give him enough room to run it out again.
And now Chicago going to burn their 3rd and final timeout. Because keep in mind, if the Finest pick up a 1st down, plenty of time for them to get up, clock it, and kick it.
They could do a lot with this. It's still anybody's game right now. But the opportunities they keep executing on.
Has Tommy got something?
What is your assessment at this juncture?
This is such a ball game. This is so even-keeled back and forth. It's a true football game because each team is bringing the same thing to each other. And NYPD executed that field goal. That was the only score. That's a testament to both teams' defense. They're able to stop and continue to stop. Even though the teams are still making chips, they're going ahead, they're getting yardage. Nobody's able to execute that touchdown yet. And with 20 seconds left in the half, I haven't seen a football game in a long time that score was this low.
We'll go down to our field reporter, Tommy Gilbert, at the conclusion of the half to get a word with Enforcers head coach Jason Slater. Here we go, 4th and 7, out to the near flat, incomplete. Good coverage on the play by Jason Nguida, the Orland Park police officer, able to break up that pass attempt to Justin Felder.
They applied just the right amount of pressure needed to throw that off. That could have pushed him a little closer. And with 15 seconds to go, they could have pulled off quite a bit to get that score up.
So with 15 seconds, you'd think Chicago just takes a knee here and shuffles the deck at halftime in this 3-0 football game.
They get to hopefully set the new tone for the second half. They're going to receive it. So whatever happens on this play, by the way they're setting up.
And Tapling takes the knee. And we hit the break with the NYPD finest on top of Chicago by a score of 3-0. The only scoring, Thomas Zabransky's 37-yard first quarter field goal. The only scoring of the half here. Turnovers played a big role as well. NYPD with 2 interceptions. Chicago coming up with a blocked field goal and a turnover on their own right. And there we are at the break at 3-0. Jason Slater now talking to his coaching staff. Our man Tommy Gilbert is down there, but we'll wait till the head coach finishes talking to his assistant coaches. Winner of this game punches their ticket to the NPSFL title game. Where and who they play yet to be determined. Could be in the Chicago area, could be in New York, could be out west in San Diego. That will get determined at the end of the month. The San Diego Enforcers have a ball game in a couple of weeks, and that will be the last shoe to drop to see how the NPSFL title game shakes up. But here it was a Thomas Zabransky 37-yard field goal in the first quarter. That is the only scoring here of the football game. And that gives the NYPD finest a lead of 3-0. Boy, Brandon Ruffin with a couple of big catches. I'll tell you, Justin Felder on the defensive side, able to make a couple of big plays.
Where do you want it? On midfield.
Let's see Jason Slater still talking. And let's see if our guy Tommy Gilbert can jump in there and grab a word with them here. Let's go down the field to our guy Tommy Gilbert trying to get a word with Jason Slater.
Yeah, Mike, Coach Slater has a couple minutes to meet with his staff over there, and then we're going to catch him as he comes over to the locker room here. My guess is that conversation may be a minute or two longer than Coach Slater anticipated before the game based on some adjustments they're going to try to make on offense down here. But, you know, as I was standing down here on the field, I was a little surprised they did not give Zabransky a chance to kick what would have been about a 42 or 43-yard field goal. We saw he had plenty of leg from about 37 earlier in the game, and although it doesn't look like the flags are moving too much, in fact they're completely still right now in the background, there is a bit of a prevailing wind at my back, which would have helped out Zabransky on a potential 43-yard field goal attempt. Again, it's pushing the range, definitely, but I may ask the coaching staff for New York when they're coming out of the locker room how much consideration they gave to that option right there, because it felt like with the leg we saw earlier, it might be makeable. We will have Coach Slater making his way over here in just a moment.
Boy, Tommy, I
We've got
agree
the
with
ceremony
you.
there for a minute. Here.
I agree with you, Tommy. I thought for sure NYPD would attempt a field goal after what we saw what Zabransky did.
Yeah, and the special teams really played a huge role on both sides in that first half. Obviously the block punt, the long field goal, but we can't forget about Mike Sheridan either. The punter showing off a booming leg for New York. Of course, you mentioned, I believe it was a 51-yard punt from right in the shadow of his own goalpost. But the punt he hit way at the beginning of the game, I believe it was on the Finest first possession. He had his teammates fired up over here. And for those of you who spent a lot of time on football sidelines in your life, it's not too often you get really, really fired up for an early game punt. That happened, and they were pretty excited for their guy Sheridan. He hit a couple of long ones. Of course, then Chicago finally able to break through the line and get that block. It was a huge play toward the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, Tommy, go ahead and grab Jason Slater. He's right by you. Go ahead and grab him right now.
We, I believe, are still waiting on him. Yeah, we're still waiting on him to come over from underneath the press box. He is over with the family right now.
Okay, I got you.
He knows he's stopping by over here. Don't worry, Mike.
Okay.
But he'll be stopping by as soon as they get some pictures with the families over there. And Mike, this just gives us an opportunity again to talk about, when we're in the middle of play, we're talking about what's going on in the field. We're focused on the players. We're focused on the game. But the football game itself, in reality, is a very small part of what we do here at the NPSFL. This is all about giving community heroes, giving everyday heroes a chance to get away from really stressful jobs and have a chance to come out here and compete and do so for a good cause. And as we analyze every play and as we pick apart different coaching decisions, that's always something to keep in mind is why we're here. And just talking about why we're here and the ceremonies that we've done for the families today, Coach Slater, what does this mean to you to be able to recognize some people who have given the ultimate sacrifice for their town, for their community?
It's why this league exists. It really does. I mean, it's great to come out. You can keep living that dream, whether it was high school, college, and you thought that was the end of it. There's a newfound life for a sport that you're forced to give up. There's not many house leagues where you can continue with this. And what the NPSFL means and honoring the fallen, it's tremendous. And the pregame stuff before here, the FD game a couple weeks ago, again, it's why we do it.
Absolutely. And one quick football question before we get you inside to talk to your team. Some success there getting the flats, in particular, getting the ball out on some short passes. Obviously up against a really tough defense. What are you looking for in the second half?
We're just going to keep going. We like what we're seeing. They're a good football team. I mean, sideline to sideline, they're fast. There's nothing you can do about it. So just stay with the game plan, stay the course, and bend, don't break.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, Tommy. Great catch getting the head coach, Jason Slater, who was just officially inducted into the NPSFL Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Lieutenant Jason Slater, head coach of the Chicago Enforcers. We'll step aside here at the break where NYPD Finest own a 3-0 lead on Chicago. This is the NPSFL Network on YouTube.
After 9/11, we drove down West Side Highway. This trip kind of reminds me of that day on the West Side Highway where we're in a van and we're driving down there and I'm sitting with 5 or 6 other officers and we're crying like little babies, like children.
Oh. Oh, shit.
And to get off that van and walk to the building and everyone's clapping and just cheering and saying, hey man, thank you. This was really special. And it made me feel special. It brought me back to that day. And that was really cool.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Gary Sinise Foundation. We want you to enjoy your time here for our Nashville Salutes Heroes. This is our very first one, and you're the very first.
Oh my gosh, look, his wig. Yeah. That's so cool.
Without the Gary Sinise Foundation and without the heart that Gary has, we wouldn't be where we're at today. And to have all of these people around us that that have been on the same journey that we have is just humbling, and we can't say thank you enough.
What's important about this is community.
So I invited my buddies here from CSI New York, and you'll probably see some pictures of these guys on the walls around here somewhere. There's a few back there. You'll have to look for them hard. You know, we've kept them. I'm going to rearrange it. I know, he will. Somebody walk with him from the foundation. Make sure he doesn't steal anything.
Coming here, put a smile on somebody's face is great, but to me, it's such an honor to get to shake these men and women's hands and get to spend time with them.
So we have a lot of stuff planned. You didn't know you were going to the Opry last night, right? Right. Yeah, so the Opry was cool, huh?
It was a surprise seeing Gary. It was awesome to see him and get to take some pictures on Forrest Gump bench.
Here you go, Forrest. All right, yeah. When I heard you were coming, I was really happy. Here, you get to hold a box of chocolate.
My sister-in-law and my wife came out and played in Santa Rosa.
Where is that? Oh, this is Santa Rosa after the fire.
Yeah.
Wow, where is that?
Gold Star Mothers Concert, Little Creek Base, Virginia.
He gave each of us time and sat with us and shook our hand and hugged us. It was so cool to be seen after. You never feel seen or understood. He really does understand.
You're the only one who supports first responders. Thank you. This is my brother. He was killed 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
He sat down with me on the Forrest Gump bench, and he talked to me like I was an old friend, you know?
You don't have to thank me. This is all about thanking you.
You know, as first responders don't like somebody.
You'll like these.
As a car nut, we pull into the Tennessee Speedway there, and I'm like, nah. The minute we got off the bus, one of the first cars I saw was a white 67 Nova that was almost a sister to mine.
I drove across country twice in a Suburban like that. My dad had a Suburban like that.
To walk around and see all these cars and you know, big ones and little ones, and then, you know, obviously, again, with the entrance into the stadium, that came right back again. You know, it rained a little bit, and it didn't matter.
When I got hurt, it was on a rainy day in 2019, and I haven't been able to spend a good day in the rain ever since. Memories, PTSD, just all the flashbacks. I don't consider it a coincidence that it rained. I made new memories. I sat out there in the rain. I had my little rain poncho on, sat in those seats, and I enjoyed every second of that concert because it felt like a new step.
First stuck in the line dancing on the rooftop. He not so much, but it was such a blast, and seeing the accessibility instructor too, and seeing our friends that are disabled out on the dance floor was just so heartwarming, and they all were smiling and living their best life, and that was just such a great moment.
5, 6, 7. You're gonna pull that right leg out, and you're gonna snap that leg, and you're gonna
and everybody's getting down in this town. Ain't never gonna be the same. 'Cause I saddle up my horse and I ride into the city. I make a lot of noise 'cause the girls, they are so pretty. Riding up and down Broadway on my old stud Leroy, and the girls say, save a horse, ride a cowboy. What? Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Everybody says, save a horse, ride a cowboy.
We got to go to the listening room, hear some amazing songwriters.
Just to have that quality of entertainment, I mean, it was really, really good.
My grandfather's in the Navy, so this is very important to me.
I see you walking over my way.
We're taking 20 songwriters. We're going to come out of here with 20 songs that have been written on the spot by the people that are served by the Gary Sinise Foundation.
This open seat next to me.
I think our song came out very well.
Give it all, we sacrifice through any time.
Writing the song for me was very therapeutic. Just getting some words on paper.
But we'll pay that price.
Being able to work with a writer to compose our own song was absolutely phenomenal.
Be the light, this world full of darkness will always be that light.
That's good.
Every time we turn around here, I'm just amazed. We're here at the Copperline Ranch, which is I guess the previous home and owned by Kenny Rogers, gambler. We walked in and first thing they said, food, go get some food, you get some barbecue.
So being here with other first responders and military folks, just being recognized and seeing the love, feeling the love and the gratitude is overwhelming.
Got to see some demonstrations of the barbecue and the smokers.
I grill almost every single day. I had the backyard pitmasters out here and they helped me learn about smoking. Looking forward to going home and trying it out.
They said, go pick out a hat. And I was like, are you serious?
Better.
This has been so much fun. I haven't stopped smiling. Yes, I've had a lot of tears, but new memories and new friendships. I've bonded like we've been lifelong friends.
The word that continues to come up is genuine. Everything here is genuine, caring, authentic, and it's hard to express. It's been fantastic.
Ah, good to see you. I'm gonna take you in.
Good to see you, sir.
Come on. Look what I got for you. You got a gold record.
I'm gonna what? I got a gold record.
You do.
I knew my sweet voice would make this happen.
We received a golden album that we got for our songwriting that we did yesterday. I mean, that blew me away. The generosity that comes from Gary and the foundation is just, there's no words for it. There's no words for it.
I don't say this to too many people, but when I do, I really mean it. You're a great man.
Thank you.
It's amazing. It's something that we're not used to.
This is such a wonderful event and our way to say thank you to all the men and women who serve our country and protect our cities. That's what this is all about.
People like Gary that actually step up and do stuff like this. I can guarantee you that nobody here would ever get the opportunity to do these things if it wasn't for him and his help.
For those of you that don't like surprises, that's just a tradition for these events. We like surprises at the Garrison Hughes Foundation. Please welcome Big and Rich.
Give it up for the redneck woman. This is Reggie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mr. Larry Gatlin.
Said goodbye to the dream as he left South Dakota to fight for the red, white, and blue.
This family is so much bigger than I ever thought it was. And my heart hurts knowing that people have been where I am and will continue to be. But my heart is also full knowing that we all have a place like this. That doesn't matter where you serve, law enforcement, military branch, whatever. It's home.
And back here in Chicago at Mount Carmel High School, start of the second half set to begin, 3-0 in favor of NYPD. Downstairs to Tommy Gilbert.
Yeah, and Mike, I chatted with a couple members of the New York coaching staff coming out of the locker room. The answer is there was not a lot of thought given to trying to kick a 43-yard field goal there at the end of the first half. I think a couple of members of the staff thought he might have had a chance at it, but they thought definitely the safe play and probably the play with the better odds was to try to go for it and see if they could run a couple plays there. Back to you, Mike.
Brandon Ruffin takes the kickoff for Chicago out across the 20 and jitterbugs his way out to the 23-yard line. And the Chicago offense will take things first here in the second half.
And the coach Aaron Chappelle's key to victory is the best team we've had in a while, he says. You know, he's been a part of the Enforcers for a long, long time. We played together way back when. And, you know, having lost to NYPD last year, this game means a lot to the Enforcers themselves because they want redemption out of this.
Big football game here this afternoon as the second half is underway. Winner punches its ticket to the NPSFL championship game. That'll be played somewhere on June the 20th. A Thomas Zabransky 37-yard field goal, the only scoring. Pascassia will run the football first for a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 as we take a look at what Jason Slater and the head coach for the Chicago Enforcers, his keys to the game and his thoughts. As we talk to Jason at the conclusion of the second half, or of the first half, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. We'll get that to you shortly after this play. 2nd down and 8. They'll keep it on the ground, and big stick on the play for a loss. And here is the NYPD finest coaching keys to victory.
Yeah, Clive Harding, another guy who's been around the team for a long, long time. And they have the same goals as to beat the fire department and also to win the national championship. They continue to produce an excellent team, great coaching, great leadership on their part, and they always have success. And it's a testament to their ability and their knowledge of the game.
So Pascassia with a couple of drops behind the line of scrimmage, being tackled for a loss. It looks like it's going to have to be done through the air here this afternoon. 3rd down and long. If you're Chicago, just don't make a mistake here. Tappling, flush, pressure. He's wrapped up and dropped at the 23-yard line. A statement start in the second half for the finest.
Yeah, you know, that's the first time Taplin had to scramble that hard that quick after dropping back. They've usually been able to produce a great read, great time. The O-line usually steps up today. Right now, coming out of the half, that's not a good start for the Enforcers.
Well, at this point, if you're Chicago, you just live to fight another down. And Lention to punt it away. 3-0 New York.
Chris Lenti, Capzilla, the punter, Mount Carmel alumni too.
Good snap, Ben Lenti gets it away. And it's going to be taken by Johnson right around the midfield stripe. Good field position as he steps out of bounds at the Chicago 38. So the finest get the stop, and they get excellent field position here.
This is, hopefully the Enforcers can put a stop to their momentum right now, because these last couple of plays are going in the way of NYPD.
Boy, a touchdown here by NYPD seemingly would be insurmountable. Of course, you know, it's sports, it's unpredictable, but the way this has gone, Mike Curry, boy, a touchdown is great real estate.
It would be, and they keep, the last few sets downs, NYPD's had good field position to execute, and with Quinlan and his ability to run that ball, let's hope the Enforcers can find a stop to him if if the Enforcers secondary keeps putting a hold on the receivers.
Quinlan able to show his legs a lot in the last 2 drives. Able to rush the football well. He's over 42 yards, 40 yards rushing. That one batted down nicely by Carlin Ento. Boy, Ento out of District 8, Chicago police officer. Second batted down ball this afternoon.
He's doing a really good job of getting in the way of a lot of stuff today.
Boy, both teams right now just hang on to the football. Anybody's football game, plenty of football to play.
And with both teams improving historically in the past, absolutely anything can happen in this game. As everybody at home and far abroad are watching with bated breath to see how this game is going to unfold.
So Davian Quinlan rolling to his left, has time. And the pass incomplete. Good secondary coverage. A man right there, Benjamin Little, out of District 25. Chicago police officer on the coverage.
You know, the amount of pressure both defenses have been applying against the other team has been really, really amazing to watch. It's such a great quality on both sides to see how obstructive the defenses are to the other team.
Where the players do not receive any financial or time support. I mean, playing football, this is all organic, and it's only possible with sponsors and support. Each player does this on his own time and his own dime. I mean, it's a stress reliever. It's fun. They're young. Get out and hit somebody. 3rd down and 10. Pressure. Quinlan flushed left. Off his back foot. Knocked down. Oh, great pressure. John Simmons.
That was a really, really great penetration they were able to perform there. They just overtook that whole line. They really just got into all them gaps. They filled them gaps and really, really made Quinlan earn that one. But luckily the enforcers overachieved on that.
And that Chicago defense able to make it happen. So Zabransky on to punt it away. That's a field position game now. If you're Zabransky, you're looking to pin Chicago inside the 10 and let them show you they can move it. There's the punt. It's away. It's going to take a bounce, but the bounce kicks pretty hard, and it rolls into the end zone, and a break for Chicago.
Yeah, I'm sure he wanted to put that up in the air as long as he possibly could, but
downstairs to Tommy Gilbert.
And Mike, thank you. I was over on the Chicago sideline right after that first drive of the second half, where Adam Tapling, coming off the field, talking to his wide receivers, basically saying they were on me in 2 seconds. I had no chance to even look anywhere. He and his wideouts were talking about making sure they have someone on a short route at all times just to guard against that defensive line getting through their blocks within 1 or 2 seconds. Back up to you, Mike.
Tommy Gilbert, our sideline reporter. Anthony Coletta, our producer. Robert Williamson, our director. Mike Curry to my left. I'm Mike Fraser as we welcome you into this NPSFL broadcast. Pascasio wrapped up, picked up, and dropped. Oh, baby, what a stick. Kendall Clark leading the charge.
that was a big stop by NYPD. They really, really filled them gaps and put a hold on Pascasio, who usually chips away really, really good and keeps making small gains, which ultimately opens up into a nice big one. But this time they just over-penetrated that gap, and they got right in there.
Host of guys in there. And again, we've called out this man's name, Matthew Weiss, big number 70. Well, that's his fourth tackle here this afternoon. Now it's going to have to be through the air on the Tapling arm. All it takes is one big play with that electrifying Ruffin. Pass this one incomplete. Intended out to the far flat. Late penalty flag down where the quarterback Tapling was placed down. And the Chicago catch a break. Personal foul, and that'll go against New York. Roughing the passer.
That's a good benefit for the enforcers. They're at least moving the ball, or moving the markers. They were hoping they could have executed a little better, but at least they're going downfield a little.
That could be a huge factor here in this drive. I mean, they were facing 3rd down and 10. Now it's a fresh set of downs, and they've got the ball out to the 35. Look, this offense has struggled to move it today, and that's a credit to the NYPD defense. You give them 15, now see what Chicago does. Look, we've seen Ruffin with big plays last year and this year. You find him on 1-and-1. All it takes is one grab, and if he gets to open field, he's like Secretariat in the Kentucky Derby. You are not going to catch him. So 1st down and 10. See if Chicago can capitalize. A little jet sweep. Can they turn the corner? Can they turn the corner? Boy, that defense ferocious. Birchfield, the speedster. My goodness, the finest linebackers and safety guys come up and tackle for loss again.
They really swarmed him on that one. I think it was a face mask penalty in the backfield there at the end, but those they really swarmed that play really, really well. They read that remarkably well.
Boy, credit Anthony Lombardi, the defensive lineman, on the tackle. And Lombardi stays in. I mean, he literally ran 20 yards left to right. Marker down, it's against the finest, as you alluded to, Mike Curry. And it's a big one. Gonna move him 15 yards to midfield. And look at this.
If these penalties continue for NYPD, it's going to be a big, big game changer for them. This is going to turn the tide if they continue this way.
Look, a touchdown probably wins this game. A 4-point lead by the Enforcers would seem insurmountable. A 10-0 lead by the finest would seem insurmountable for Chicago.
Both of these defenses have just performed so well today, so well, putting a stop to each other's offense.
Tapling under pressure. Eludes one man. Eludes another. Rolling. Open field. 45. And down to the 44-yard line. Gain of 6. Could have been a loss of 12.
Could have been a loss of 12, but he ran about 42 yards for that gain of 6. He hustled out there. He scrambled so well. And you know what? Again, that's the second time this half that the O-line gave up their blocks real easy. But Tapling's athleticism just came through. He was able to get away from all of those defenders.
Houdini.
And he just kept cutting it upfield. Those blocks started coming in downfield. Good gain, big gain. Otherwise, that would have been another stop by NYPD.
And credit those wide receivers blocking downfield. Look, gain of just 5, but could have been a heck of a lot worse for Chicago.
That was a big 5 for him.
Trips to the near side, Ruffin slotted in the center. That's the go-to man. They're going to run it to Pascasio. Can he get to the outside? He does! First down inside the 40, down to the 37-yard line, but a flag down.
Pascasio on the right side for about 8 yards. Penalty.
Think they're going to get Kuzia. What do you see here, Mike Curry?
Oh, that was a good opening by that line. That was a great hole they made for Bryant, but you know, that hold, that really set him back because that's a momentum shifter. You know, if Bryant hits that opening and keeps going like that, I'll tell you, that penalty really put a good stop to that energy.
That's Elon Chamberlain, the offensive lineman out of District 25, CPD on the hold.
Who also plays baseball for the Chicago Finest baseball team.
It wasn't much, but it was enough. I credit these officials. They've been consistent on both sides of the ball. That was a hold, just enough to squirt Pascasio in for a couple of extras. So second down now and 15. There's more bulldozers straight ahead for a few. Sets up a third down and a country mile now for Chicago.
Oh yeah, old man Dave Moore continues to outperform for his age.
49 years old on a District 7 on the Chicago Police Department.
I still wish I had half his energy at the same age.
Boy, man, he's in terrific shape. 49 years old.
God bless his old ass.
I'll tell you, another good-looking guy in this squad. Number 69, Jelani Edmond.
Jelani Edmond, a great footballer from the St. Rita days in high school from way back when. Man. Number 69, the number formerly worn by Enforcer founding member John Curry for many years. Gave it up for young Jelani Edmond to play.
Third down and long. Low snap. Tapling out to the flat. They need magic. They've got it. 45. Can he turn the corner? Yes. First down and more. 35. Down the 31-yard line. But a marker on the play. Back at the 45. Birchfield with the catch. Let's check the flag.
Man, Dante Birchfield ran that route perfectly, opened it right up. Gonna watch his replay and see where that flag came from. He just cut it up and just kept running.
And they picked the flag up. First down,
no
Chicago.
Flag. Oh, that's huge. That is huge. What a great play. Great execution by Tapling and Birchfield. They came together. marvelous execution. And that no penalty on that wave off, that was huge. Huge for the enforcers.
Boy, Birchfield, a Zion Benton police officer, negotiated and managed his way down to the 32. This the midway point of the third period. Chicago on its second possession here in the second half. The only scoring, Thomas Zabransky, the finest kicker for NYPD with a 37-yarder in the first quarter. That's been it. Chicago now, with the help of a couple of plays and penalties, they are marching toward the finest red zone. On the ground, Moore to the left side, keeping the legs churning to the 29.
Dave Moore, the old man powerhouse, pushing through that line.
Dave Moore, ball carrier, pushes forward for a gain of 2.
That may be now the second longest carry by a 49-year-old this month in the league.
Well, how about Tyler Redeker, the O-lineman out of DuPage County, the FPD out there, with a nice block and kept his upper body churning.
He surely respected his elder on that play. Gave him a good opening to come through.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Midway through the third is the tension mounting with each turn of the screw here on this critical football game in the NPSFL. Tappling straight ahead, and he negotiates his way down to the 27-yard line.
Tackling on the keeper, gain of 2. So 3rd and 5 for the CPD enforcers.
So 3rd down and 5.
And Tappling with his all-around athleticism, being able to carry the ball and go right through that line. They had a good opening. He chipped away, made a little gain.
So 3rd and manageable for Chicago. Boy, that defense, hands on the hips. They've been out there a while. Temperature north of 80 degrees here on this sunny Saturday afternoon from Chicago. Tappling out to the flat, incomplete. Intended receiver was Robert Kunzia. Couldn't hang on to it.
And you know that NYPD D-line has been coming hard this whole half so far. Been coming real hard to see to put some good pressure on Tappling to see how he's going to react to all this.
Timeout on the field. We'll step aside. 6.5 to go. It's 3-0 NYPD. This is NPSFL football on YouTube.
For their continued support in this year being a
back here in Chicago. Bullavis Restoration, based out of Long Island. Bullavis Restorations is in the business of helping people. Knowing how devastating a disaster can be, they are committed to providing whatever it takes to minimize physical damage. Bullavis Restorations are the disaster experts you can trust. Proud supporters of the NPSFL. Okay, after the timeout, a critical 4th down and a good 5 here for Chicago. Midway through the third, Tappling to throw. Going near corner for Ruffins. Got him! Touchdown, Chicago!
touchdown, CPD enforcers. Number 19, Brandon Ruffin on the touchdown pass.
You know, that battery from Adam Tappling to Brandon Ruffin, they continue to execute marvelously. That was a beautiful precision shot through defenders, and they came out really, really great. This is a big swing for the Enforcers now, putting that first touchdown on the board.
Single coverage, we talked about it all afternoon. Ruffin isolated one-on-one, and this time they strike Pater, tapping to Ruffin. Lenti on for a critical point after. Snap, spot, kick on the way, and it muscles its way through. Chicago with the 7-3 lead midway through the third. Oh, brother. Tapping to Ruffin, and Chicago has their first lead of the afternoon. Down on the field to Tommy Gilbert.
Thank you, Mike. And I was watching that play from the pylon directly across the field from where Ruffin made that catch. It was beautiful touch on that throw from Adam Tapling. But the question at the end in my mind was, he going to be able to keep it in his paws on the way to the ground? He was coming down on top of the cornerback's stomach as he caught the ball. It looked like he was going to bobble it for a second, but Ruffin able to secure it and go to the ground. And by the time he hit the ground, it was firmly within both forearms. On a side note, it's been kind of cool to watch over here on the New York sideline. You don't see too many quarterbacks more into the game on the defensive side than Davian Quinlan. He is standing downfield about 20 yards from the play right now and is often calling out the Chicago plays as they're coming. But a big one right there. Back up to you, Mike.
On the return, Mark Thomas out across the 25 to the 29-yard line. Ruffin is one of their go-to guys. Boy, Tapling has showed tremendous courage as well this afternoon, staying in a pocket that breaks down.
He sure is. You know, the patience and this level of confidence and ability are really, really coming to shine. And his just athleticism to be able to read and maintain his composure the whole time is a true testament to his history of being a football player and the great asset he is to the Enforcers.
Well, now the script flips, because now it's the finest that need a touchdown.
And they're going to bring everything they have right now because they're going to be scrambling to try to get ahead. NYPD is historically never down, and now they are in the third quarter of a big game.
Now understand, plenty of time left, 21 minutes of football. With Zabransky, you can see the finest moving and winning this game 9-7. However, to move the football with precision, neither team has been able to show or prove this afternoon. So you're looking for a big play here if you're the finest, and just keep grinding away to try to find your way into the red zone.
And you know what? They've got the ability to do it too. We just hope that the Enforcers don't make silly penalties to give NYPD the yardage they gave the Enforcers moving downfield, because both defenses have just continued to put a stop to each other's offense in one of the most remarkable ways ever. In this NPSFL league, these two teams are dynamically wonderful. They fight hard. It's an even-keeled, both sides back and forth battle the whole game.
You know, you look at both quarterbacks. The word that comes to mind this afternoon, gritty and gutsy, both of them.
Without a doubt, both of them. And, you know, they're both so incredibly athletic with so much skill as a quarterback position. They have confidence. They have patience. They can read the field. They read it very well. They're not pressured too much. The lines are holding them up well, except for the few times they get that pressure. Even when they get that pressure, they're not running scared. They're running smooth. They're executing every way they possibly can, but being able to run the ball as that quarterback and go through the middle of that line like they've both done has proved to be a benefit to gaining yardage on both sides.
So after a discussion, they've decided to re-kick the football. So Chicago will be kicking off. And it'll be Brandon Ruffin who had the touchdown catch. Boy, he had explosive runs against FDNY a couple of weeks ago out in Niles, Illinois. In that 29-16 win over FDNY. And Ruffin able to come up big here. I do beg your pardon. That's not Ruffin kicking it off. That's Kudzia. this will be returned out to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, across midfield to the 48-yard line. Big return for Chris McGrain. Oh, was that something the Finest needed?
That kick was done by Jason Perrine from Lockport Fire, and he kicked it off right to him. And you know what? He ran up, and those blocks hit exactly where they needed to hit. Right here, all those blockers materialized. Those holes kept opening up. It allowed them to get past the 50 on that, which is going to be a big, big energy give to NYPD.
All right, momentum swing there. Chicago with its first lead off the Tapling to Ruffin 4th down play for a touchdown. Quinlan underneath, and it's complete down to the Chicago 41-yard line. As we have our player spotlight here, taking a look at another Chicago player.
Dante Birchfield with the Zion Police Department, played at the semi-pro level, and it's his first season with the Enforcers here. And, you know, competing at these high levels and represent his department his right way and supporting all these charities that we support on our own time, on our own dime, it's a great thing to give.
Well, he played football at the semi-pro level. And having a successful season in his debut with the Enforcers. Up the middle for a few and close to a first down. Going to be short by about a yard, but third and manageable now for the Finest. As we dipped under 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Winner to the NPSFL championship game on June the 20th. Loser, and the season concludes.
That carry by number 5, Justin Felder, having overcome some adversity through his college years. Some big gap in playing time there, but he, continues to provide a great benefit to the NYPD team.
So Quinlan now on 3rd and short. Boy, a lot the Finest can do here. They're going to run it big hole. First down and more inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. Well, they run it right off that left tackle. William Woodley needed 2 and picked up 12. First down, Finest.
And then NYPD, they open up that line just the way they were supposed to. That's a textbook opening. And those blockers downfield continue to materialize and take care of all the Enforcers secondary. Enforcers got to put a stop to this, though.
The Finest answering the bell here after the Chicago touchdown. At the Chicago 25 with a fresh set of downs. Split backfield, see what Quinlan does here. Looking right, going to that corner, he's got a man! Touchdown, Finest! Chris McGrain!
Pass complete for a touchdown from number 12, Chris McGrain.
You know, that man on the coverage, it took off on him. He could have that good separation, and Quinlan just put that ball right on the money.
And as Chicago thinking they had the Finest on the ropes, bam, a right hook. And the Finest, after the kickoff return to midfield, take it 4 plays and go 48 yards and regain the lead. Zabransky on for the point after. Low snap. Can Chicago get the stop? Can he turn the corner? Marker down. Is he in? Is he in? They say yes. Marker down, but the 2-point conversion will count. Let's check the flag. Preliminary call is holding against the Finest. Well, Chicago catches a break there, but so does the Finest with their kicker, an attempt to make a crucial extra point. Low snap here, Mike.
This low snap really made a difference for him, but that number 32, Mustafa Young, he turned it up and made that turn real well. getting that ball across the plane there, but that penalty really helped the enforcers.
Let's go down to Tommy Gilbert on the sideline. Tommy, you were right down there. It appeared from our vantage point he hit it. Did he make it?
It certainly looked like he did. That was the call on the field, Mike. It was really, really close, but regardless, now coming back for the penalty, they're going to have to kick and settle for the one anyway.
This will be a 30-yard extra point and a critical one at that for Zabransky. Snap, kick on the way, and it is right down Park Avenue. And NYPD finest regain the lead 10-7. You're watching the NPSFL on YouTube.
Discover, serve with a purpose, take the test.
If you're thinking about joining the Department of Correction, join.
I truly believe that I should have made this decision 10 years ago.
I wanted to do something that was both challenging and rewarding. If I can make a difference in somebody's life, then I think I've done my part.
It's high paying, it's a career, not a job, and I serve with a purpose.
Scan the QR code now. Register today to take the test.
Do it.
Back here at Mount Carmel High School in Chicago, Illinois. A critical football game here. Winner to the NPSFL championship game, and the finest bark back and take a 10-7 lead over Chicago, Mike.
You know, this momentum shift is eerily reminiscent of last year's game. Second half, NYPD came out in the second half and really outperformed the enforcers. We're hoping the enforcers this year got that number, and they can put a stop to that and start putting some numbers on the board as well.
You know, this game, Mike, you've been watching this a lot longer than I have, but in the years I've been following the NPSFL, these games are a tale of two different halves. Teams that can't score find a rhythm pretty quick. Let's see if Ruffin can get one for Chicago. Near sideline, and he's going to be ankle tackled at the 24-yard line. But these teams just pivot on a dime offensively.
They sure do. You know what? They both perform so marvelously well. And like 2 weeks ago, the last game in Niles at Notre Dame, the enforcers played FDNY. The enforcers came out in the second half, took over, changed the whole momentum, and ended up winning that game. Like last year in the championship game, NYPD, they were down going into the half. They came out in the second half and turned the tables on the enforcers. And hopefully this year the enforcers have learned their lesson from that.
Downstairs to Tommy Gilbert.
And Mike, I was over with Adam Tapling and his offensive line right after they took the lead. The game plan with a 7-3 lead was going to be to stay in the double slot on every single play, run almost exclusively RPOs, and if they don't have anything downfield, just take the running play, run the clock, and keep their defense off the field. We'll see, however, if they stick with that plan now that they're trailing once again.
All right, spot-on reporting, Tommy. Here's Tapling. Passing complete at the 40-yard line. Intended receiver was Kudzia.
In that second half, this defensive line has been putting a lot of pressure on Tapling now, which was a different story from the first half of the game, where Tapling ended up having all the time in the world to read that whole room and see what he's got available to him.
10-7, the finest. They led 3-0 at the break. Chicago on a Tapling to Ruffin touchdown took their first lead, but a good kickoff return to midfield, and 4 plays later the finest regain it. And Pascasio nowhere to go as he is wrestled out of bounds. And it brings up 3rd down and about 8 for Chicago. Chicago coming off the win over FDNY. You see here just this defensive line, solid.
And yeah, Pascasio, headed for that open hole, but they got filled up real quick. He went to the outside, and that containment stopped him real quick. But Pascasio is always good at barreling through. Let's hope he continues to do that the second half of the game.
Yeah, Pascasio, a solid piece to the offense here. The finest just bowing up all afternoon long against the run. 3rd and 10. See if Tapling can work some Houdini here. A little bit of time. Man out in the far flat. Another open field tackle. Oh, brother, what a stop. I mean, if Pena breaks that tackle, he's got more than a first down. He's got a good 15, 20 yards here.
Easily. He did a good job of getting open, creating that separation, and getting away. You know, he started out rough at the beginning of the game, but, man, he's really making up for that in strides. And Tapling with a lot of good time on that one, too. That O-line really put a stop to that D-line to give Tapling time to find that opening.
Look at that wrap up there by Kevon Pinnock. Boy, these guys can tackle. I haven't seen any missed tackles yet in that secondary.
And both these teams are bringing all they got today, and they're both very good at that.
Here's the Tapling punt, and it'll come to a rest at the NYPD finest 37-yard line. And now the Chicago defense going to be asked to get a stop, maybe try to generate a turnover. As the finest lead it here by a score of 10-7 late in the third quarter. Boy, these two teams battling toe-to-toe. You knew it would be. Boy, these two teams went at it last year. It was an exciting NPSFL title game out of the Big Apple, where the finest put together a superb second half to win it. And here we are, 10-7 with about 17 minutes to play. On the ground to the left side. And the running back able to pinball his way out across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Okay. First man got a hand, looked like Anthony Ruba, able to get a hand on him. And then a couple of guys got in there for Chicago. Let's see who it was.
Yeah, they put a good front on there. They made him shift around, and then luckily that secondary came back and put a big stop on him, because that young fella's got some wheels.
But Jalen Woods, Chicago police officer out of District 4, having a whale of a football game back there for the Enforcers. Big stop there. Fourth solo of the game to go with 2 assists. And a TFL to go with that. Quinlan on the ground again. They're running off that left side with the seam 50-45, and they plow their way down to the Chicago 40. William Woodley, they see something, Mike Curry, on the left side, and they're exploiting it.
They sure are. You know, that line's opening up those holes, and they keep capitalizing on it. They just keep hammering away at that one side now, and they're putting up some good rushing yards, but they weren't doing it in the first half.
Good eyes by Woodley. Look at him just navigate and process downfield, and finds himself down to the Chicago 40-yard line. And all of a sudden, the momentum fully in the tank of the finest as we wind down here in the third quarter. It was 3-0 at the break. A pair of touchdowns here in the third. And New York on the move. They'll go again to Woodley. Bounces off one, bounces off two, and gang tackled after a short gain. And that'll do it for the third period here from Mount Carmel High School on the south side of Chicago. After 3, it's NYPD 10, Chicago 7. This is the NPSFL on YouTube.
Good afternoon. Captain Bish introduced me to the FDNY right here 21 years ago.
We outfitted him in John Plant's captain's outfit, put him on a truck with an axe, and they responded to an alarm. I remember that like it was yesterday.
And that night that I came here to the firehouse really began to galvanize a devotion and a commitment to serving our first responders that manifested itself into the creation of our first responder outreach program at the Gary Sinise Foundation.
More good came out of 9/11 than evil. And the good is a guy like Gary Sinise.
Start of the fourth quarter, it's 10-7 NYPD finest over the Chicago Enforcers. Downstairs, the Tommy Gilbert.
Mike, I bet this isn't what you're expecting to hear right now, but actually quite a bit of frustration in the defensive huddle on the sideline for the finest a minute ago. The message in general to the team was we have to get on the same page. The D-line looks good right now, but we got guys in the slot who are completely uncovered. It is too late in the season for that. We should be past this. We've practiced it. Part of that, though, I think Mike tells you the bar is set very, very high for the Finest on defense. They're not happy to even have given up 7 points, and they're not happy with what they're seeing out there in what to us looks like a very good defensive performance, Mike.
Tommy brings up a good point, Mike Curry.
Yeah, you know what? These teams are so even-keeled back and forth that, you know, when NYPD executed that field goal early on in the first quarter and there's been nothing, but now in the third quarter they come out, they're each battling back. They each got a touchdown. And in point after, executed well. These teams are such on the same level on both sides of the ball.
Start of the fourth quarter, it's 2nd down and 8. Winner to the NPSFL title game, June 20th. The Finest with a 10-7 lead. Quinlan, pressure, single coverage to the far flat. Got his man! Touchdown, Finest! What a throw! What a throw! Pressure coming. Hits his man for 6. Chris McGrain again.
And here we are like last year. It's very similar. NYPD's coming out in the afternoon and executing in the second half. And they're forcing, they run the ball early, run the ball, get them sucked into the run, and then all of a sudden they got to force a man coverage because they're filling these gaps. And that wide receiver just got away. There's that replay. Just had him from a couple of steps. And that's all it took. Was hopefully the enforcers can stop this momentum.
Zabransky's extra point up and through, and the Finest take a seemingly commanding lead. Here on the opening play of the fourth quarter, they lead it now 17-7. And what courage by Quinlan to stand in that pocket with a man breathing right down him, took the hit not only to make the play, but to put it a dime right onto the hands.
You know, that athleticism that he's showing here, between him and Tapling, the two of them together, they could sit back there all day, take the hit, but still focus on what their task is, and they're putting them passes right where they need to be, each of them, every time.
Chris McGrain with his second touchdown catch for the Finest. Quinlan with his second touchdown pass of the afternoon. And, brother has the tide switched and the momentum all in the hands of New York. Again, we talked about this at halftime. 3-0. Changes are made. The coaching at this level is exceptional. Teams make adjustments and exploit. Look for Chicago to make some noise here and not go quietly into the spring night. Ruffin back to receive. Boy, if you're the Finest, you probably want to keep it away from him. And they kick it to the near side. And that bouncing ball will be picked up by Birchfield. He has some wheels. Cuts back. Across the 20, 25, 30. Spins and is wrapped up at the 36-yard line. Boy, spirited return by Birchfield to try to generate a little momentum for Chicago.
He sure did. He really turned that on. He read that field pretty good and tried to find that opening, and he kept chipping away to get his head as far as he could to put some good field advantage for Tapley to see what he could materialize in this fourth quarter.
So Chicago now with their backs up the proverbial wall. Boy, they need a drive. They need points. Good field position for the Enforcers at their own 36. Haven't been able to run it this afternoon with any consistency.
Yeah, these defensive lines have really showed up today to perform. And again, the caliber of these two teams playing against each other, just the high level of ability that they're all producing, is really even keeling this whole game out.
Lima to the near side. Ruffin in motion. Taplin going deep downfield, and it is incomplete. Nearly intercepted. Jamel Outley to break it up. Boy, credit Kudzia to knock it down. He played defender on that play. And the ball will stay in the hands of the enforcers.
Yeah, the great camera view of this whole thing, too. Oh, look how he makes the distance, but oh, the pass was just a little short. And then to turn around and get that ball free, so it didn't just turn it all over. They can still have some energy moving forward to try to materialize something on this.
Second down and 10, Chicago. And now a timeout on the field. We'll step aside with them. This is the NPSFL on YouTube.
A mortgage-free home to a catastrophically injured veteran. Do people understand what that means? A lot of these people living in situations that they can't get around, with their disability. I mean, come on.
By the end of next year, we'll have paid off mortgages for over 2,000 of these great heroes. And also for fallen first responders that are catastrophically injured or die in the line of duty to leave young families behind. We're proud of that.
Tunnel to Towers has been caring for America's greatest heroes for more than 2 decades. And we ask you to join us on our mission to do good.
One of the fastest growing podcasts, Bet Big, Talk Loud, provides plenty of laughs and entertainment while offering bold opinions, real stories, and can't miss betting advice. If you love big bets, big laughs, and bigger conversation, this is the podcast for you. Bet Big, Talk Loud podcast. Back here at Mount Carmel High School in Chicago. The finest comfortably ahead here. Chicago behind the 8 ball. Tapling. Spins away. Fires out. Got a man at midfield. First down, Chicago. Kudzia on the catch.
Tapling connects with Robert Kudzia for CPD Enforcers first down.
I'll tell you, the way he had that time, and then he started scrambling, able to read that field, executed just perfectly. Kudzia got that great separation. That materialized when the enforcers really needed it.
So a much-needed first down for Chicago, and they enter finest territory at the 49. They're down 10 early fourth. Still time, but they've got to produce. Screen out to the flat. Here's Yancey. Stumbles a bit and spins his way for a few down to the finest 46. Host of players there on the stop. Young and Kaye on the tackle for NYPD.
Yeah, defense really locked everybody in and gave Tapling that one opportunity right there in the flat.
Yancey has deceptive speed. He wears number 17. Has made some critical catches for this Enforcers squad this year. They're going to go trips near side. Pascasio, the lone setback. Chicago on the march. They need points. Tapling, pulled it over the middle. Got a man. Kudzia. First down, Chicago to the 30-yard line of the finest. The proud new papa of about 15 days ago able to haul one in for a Chicago first down.
This was a great come across here. They executed just perfectly. Oh, we got a quick offense.
Here's Ruffin with some room. Bounces off one. Far sideline inside the red zone. Down to the 15-yard line of the finest.
Man, Ruffin put that stiff arm and really opened up that hole. Got an extra good 8-9 yards out of that one.
And here come the Enforcers. Charging down to the finest red zone. After the play, a penalty on the finest. And they'll tack on more yardage on that. And like we've talked about, boy, these two teams are just eye to eye and toe to toe. Two proud programs in the NPSFL. And they are throwing haymakers at one another here this afternoon. 1st and 10 Chicago at the 13. Pascasio, can he turn the corner? He does, inside the 5 and out of bounds at the 4. Pascasio able to bounce outside.
He really took that out and read that right, man. Those blocks came in just when they needed to. There was a good opening. And again, Brian always just chips away and chips away. And every so often he'll get that big opening. And he got a good opening outside on here. Brandon Ruffin took out a good cornerback on that one to give him an extra yard or two.
The Enforcers can get a first down. They need 3 yards for it. From the 5, Pascasio on the ground, left side. He's wrapped up and dropped for a loss. Boy, big stick, Kendall Clark. And now it sets up 3rd down, and the wheels are turning. Mike Curry, you have to start thinking a play ahead. If you don't get it, do you send Lenti out to get it to 1?
You know, they're going to want to try to execute and get a touchdown on this one. One option would be to get Lenti out, Mount Carmel alumni, and put it up to narrow it down to just 1 score. But I know the Enforcers are thinking they want to get as close as they can before they have to settle for something else.
Ruffin slotted to the near side. They're going to go trips with Yancey, Kudzio, and Ruffin. It's Birchfield, far left side. Tapling looking right. Throwing to the end zone. It is caught! Touchdown, Chicago! Brandon Ruffin.
Touchdown, CPD Enforcers, number 19, Brandon Ruffin.
You know, he's mentioned earlier about Taplin threading that needle right through everything, and man, he sure did right there with that defender coming right over the back of Brandon Ruffin, and they were able to execute that touchdown. And again, this whole game has been such a back and forth, even keel matchup. It's just going to come down to the last few seconds of this game to see who's going to come out successful.
The Enforcers answer the bell. They punch it in. They march 64 yards. Lenti on for the PAT. Clean snap, kick on the way, it is good! And it's a 3-possession game with just under 11 to go. Mike Curry, 2 heavyweights just throwing haymakers at one another.
There's so much energy here. This is just a back and forth slugfest. This is a game for the ages. This is so even keel, unlike any other game I've watched in this league.
Downstairs, Tommy Gilbert, we can feel it up there. What's it like down there?
Oh, you better believe we can feel it down here too, Mike and Mike. The sideline is stunned over here for the finest. Again, a team that is not used to giving up touchdowns, period. They've given up 6 points and no more than 6 points in any regular season game in the last 2 years. 26 for the Enforcers in the title game last year, 14 today. The Chicago sideline, on the other hand, feels a little bit vindicated. They were a little frustrated in the last 10, 15 minutes or so. They felt like they had a couple plays where they had a chance to move the ball and just couldn't quite execute. Right now, they're feeling awful good. Back in the game, 17-14. Should be a great last 10 minutes and 46 seconds.
NPSFL football at its finest here. Boy, this is a showcase game living up to its billing here on a Saturday afternoon in Chicago. Straight ahead to the outside, McCrane. He's been deadly all afternoon, and he races it across midfield on the kickoff return. Marker down, let's check it. Well, this might be coming back. They're going to call a hold on the finest, and that will erase the solid return by McCrane. Boy, I tell you, Chris McCrane, that is the star of the game to this juncture. He has been money And I tell you, you got to credit Quinlan as well, the quarterback. Boy, he stood in and faced the fire and is delivered for the finest. The penalty will put the ball back on the 30. Mike, is that huge? Moves it from inside midfield all the way back to the NYPD finest 30.
It sure is. You know, we're going to hope Quinlan here, you know, takes this energy and doesn't do a whole lot with it for the enforcer side. But they're going to probably draw him in again with the runs to force him out the man and then open it up on a toss.
They're coming back to that left side, and they get a good chunk of 6 out to the 39-yard line. On the stop, Ruba, but not before Woodley picks up 6 on first down.
And, you know, that's what they started at the beginning of the second half there. They knock him down with the run, knock him down with the run. They got to draw in, they got to change their whole secondary, and then they open it up to the pass when they adjust to that run, and the run keeps working like this. They're using some good tactics to break down the enforcer's defense.
Textbook tackle by Ruba. Wrapped him up and brought him down. Chicago firefighter. On the ground again, Woodley straight ahead. And this time they wrestle him down, but not before Woodley was able somehow to push his way for a first down. William Woodley, the running back, NYPD officer, and he picks up an NYPD first down. Boy, he has been gut checked for the finest.
Yeah, he's barely been materializing. He keeps pushing through real hard, and he keeps coming through for these good gains for him.
Fresh set of downs for the finest. They lead it by 3 with 9.5 to play, with the rights to the NPSFL title game on the line. Quinlan on the ground. This time they're going to give it to Felder. He is wrapped up and dropped. Ball is down, but a marker down as well. And this will be a personal foul on Chicago.
Yeah, they put a good stop on it right here. And you know what? Unfortunately, the energy they had, they didn't stop his momentum. They were trying to push forward, but...
Where's the late hit? I don't see it. 45? I guess so. Oh, he lifted him up.
You know, the...
Jason Nguida.
The optics of the finishing tackle, he was filled with his energy, finishing up that play, and well, kind of overdid it on that.
Yeah, our technical director and spotter, Anthony Coletta, pointing that out to us here in the broadcast booth. And that a costly penalty, a first down, the finest, down to the Chicago 41. Well, if you're Chicago, you just cannot give up a touchdown. You know you've got one possession.
They can't make silly mistakes either. They can't keep giving up penalty yards.
Straight ahead. Uh-oh, look out. Running back spins off 1, spins off 2. Look out outside. Now cuts back and navigates his way nicely for a first down gain of 11. Justin Felder. Great pursuit, great effort, and that's a finest first down.
That's some incredible ability on his part there. He ran for about 40 yards on that one, but only gained about 6. He crisscrossed that whole field trying to find that daylight, and he found it, lost it, lost it, and kept going, just evading tackles every turn.
Yeah, Timothy Bell with his hands on him, and he just kept those legs moving. Well, you can tell both teams want it. I mean, there's hitting, there's talking.
As you said earlier, man, this is a slugfest all the way to the end. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out game.
This is a sizing up to be another epic football game to put into the NPSFL vault. Midway through the third, boy, Chicago has to keep them out of the end zone. The finest with a fresh set of downs at the Chicago 29. And a marker, or a whistle, and a false start against the finest. That'll back them up 5. Downstairs to Tommy Gilbert.
Yeah, and the mood completely changed on the Chicago sideline there earlier, of course, after the touchdown. Big momentum shift, as you said, upstairs on the penalty call. There were a couple players who were not real happy, said that we can't have this. It's going to kill all our momentum. But 2 or 3 staffers running down the sideline telling them it didn't happen. There was no penalty. He was still up when the tackle happened. So there's your take from down on the field. Probably a very close call on the penalty, Mike.
So first down and long now. It's a position Chicago wants to keep him in. Quinlan to throw. Goes over the middle. Wide open man. McCrane's got it. McCrane first down to the 10, to the 5. And he is pushing his way in. And he's down to the 1-yard line. Big gut check for the Finest. First and goal, NYPD.
Here we're going to look at how this coverage got missed here, because he had a good amount of time. That line held that blocks really well. And he was just wide open. There wasn't anybody around him at all. And then he fought and didn't stop moving.
Chicago trying to keep him out of the end zone. They hand it off on the ground. Into the end zone. Touchdown Finest. Justin Felder.
You know, NYPD ran that ball down the field and took a whole bunch of time off that clock to do this. They executed really well. Just shot that one up right up the middle. We got to see what they're going to do with this point after, if they're going to really throw the score off.
So the Finest march 70 yards and find Patert. Zabransky on for the extra point. And this one is up and through. 6:10 to go. NYPD 24, the Enforcers 14. This is NPSFL football on YouTube.
If any first responder or Gold Star widow has someone die in the line of duty and they leave a young family behind, we pay every mortgage off in America.
Well, it's such a humane thing to do, to take care of the people that are taking care of us.
Exactly. It's simple.
It's really simple math.
People know that when they make a donation, their money is gonna go to these heroes.
True. It's like guaranteed in the bank. This is money well spent, and you know exactly where it's going. Please donate $11 a month at T2T.org.
The NYPD Finest march 70 yards on 7 plays. They punch it in on Justin Felder's 1-yard touchdown run. And NYPD back up 2 scores with 6:10 to go. Winner of this game heads to the NPSFL title game. That will be played on June 20th at a location to be determined. And they keep it away from Ruffin again, so they kick it to Birchfield. He comes up to the near side. Not a whole lot of real estate as it was siphoned off. And he gets it out across the 30 to the 35-yard line. So again, good field position for Chicago, but Mike Curry, now you're fighting 2 problems. The Finest and the clock.
Right, they've got 6 minutes to go and push it down. And, you know, Tampling's got a lot of knowledge and ability, but he can't dilly-dally. He's got to optimize this clock to his benefit, which means they're going to have to be airing it out a little. They can't waste time on the run, but the run works out well for him. It's going to be a challenging quarter for him.
So Chicago will take over and their first possession. Let's go downstairs to Tommy Gilbert.
Interestingly, Mike, the mood a little bit more subdued on the sideline for the Finest right now than it was when they took a 17-7 lead. I think it really felt like at 17-7, they had it in the bag, and then suddenly they saw the Enforcers put their best drive of the day together and pull back within 3. So right now it's 24-14, but nobody on the New York sideline right now feels like they have this fully locked up. Instead, it's very much stay in your lanes, make sure you don't give up the big play on defense, maybe play a touch more conservatively than this very fast, aggressive defense is used to doing, and make sure that they can hang on to this 10-point advantage once more. Back to you, Mike.
Yancey with the catch, and this one here goes out to Brian Pascasio, and that one incomplete. Yancey's catch gave the Enforcers a first down. We're at second down and 10 now, as the game clock sits at 5.5. Well, Chicago was in a hurry-up mode, obviously. They just need points on this drive. They've got a couple of timeouts in their reservoir, but they've got to score something here. Low snap. Tapling going to try to salvage something out of it and gets it back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll set up a 3rd down and 7. Winner of this game punches their ticket to the NPSFL title game. Game clock now under 5. The Enforcers trail by 10. 3rd down and 7, 4-down territory, no doubt here for Chicago. Tapling over the middle has his man. The catch is made by Birchfield, and he's close. Let's see where his forward progress is. He's going to be short by about a yard. Birchfield trying to bust one, and now it's going to set up a 4th down and 1.
You know, he came across real well. Just about uncovered. Good distance. Had he just stayed that course, he could have gotten that first down, reset them downs, but now we're going to have to figure out how to get that 1 yard for the continued momentum.
Must get here. 4th and 1. Tapling looking out to the flats. Got a man. First down, Chicago. They're still alive. Kudzia with the catch. Needed 1, picked up 3. Timeout, Chicago. Again, look at the time and the poise Tapling showed here in the pocket.
Just nice and relaxed, not rushed at all. He's able to find that glimmer of hope, and as you said earlier, with that thread and the needle, just putting it right in there between the defender and able to execute.
And that was a big catch. As that ball, as that ball was coming to Kudzia, the season was on the line. He had to catch that, or that would have been it. He caught it. They got a fresh set of downs.
That was a do-or-die play right there, and they executed wonderfully.
So Chicago calls the timeout, and understandably so, because as we mentioned earlier, they're fighting not only the opponent now, but the game clock. 3:57, fresh set of downs with Ruffin. Will they run single coverage on Ruffin?
I don't think they're going to open them up like that, which then could open up the run game. But then the defensive line has been proven all day to stop the run pretty well. They're not getting them more than 4 or 5 yards per carry. These defenses are just, the whole game, have been outperforming anything else I've ever seen.
Let's see if they double team Ruffin here. Yeah, they're dropping the safeties back, understandably so here. So 1st down and 10, Chicago. They're at the 43 of NYPD. Tapling going, home runs, got him in, it's caught inside the 5, 1st and goal, Chicago. Dante Birchfield with the catch.
Tapling with Birchfield to set up a 1st and goal for our CPD Enforcers.
The way this opened up, he just had all the day to, not even a distraction, and he just saw him out there and put it right there. Look how much between 2 defenders, and able to pull it right off.
Handoff up the middle, Pistachio, touchdown, Chicago! Touchdown, Chicago. After the play, it'll be a personal foul on Chicago, but the touchdown will stand. Here it is right here on the replay. Pascasio spins his way in from 3 yards out. And just when you thought Chicago was down and out, they answer the bell.
They came back with a vengeance, and Brian comes through that line. They open up that hole for him. He just pummels right through it.
.316 on the clock. A pivotal extra point here.
And NYPD's been able to get through twice and get real close on these kicks. Let's hope they can stop them on this one.
And don't forget that 4th and 1, Tapling to Kudzia for 3 yards and a first down. They live to fight another play, and 3 plays later, they find Pater.
Touchdown for the CPD enforcers.
So the touchdown will stand. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Chicago. And now we'll see if it'll be assessed on the point after or on the kickoff. 4-point game with 3:16 to play. And rightly so, the finest will back Lenny up. This is a crucial extra point. Well, if you're Chicago, you're in better shape than you were 2 minutes ago.
That's right. And as the kicking field's the kicking team's coming off the field, the offense is coming back out for this point after.
So they'll go for the 2-point conversion here.
A lot at risk on this.
Well, now wheels spinning, Mike Curry. Thinking ahead, are you going to onside kick here with 2 timeouts, or are you going to kick it deep and play defense?
You're going to have to try to kick it deep to try to get as much distance between the end zone as them as you possibly can. If you got to declare that it's onside kick, you're just limiting it to the short term of the field, and we've seen NYPD do a lot in a short amount of distance on that field.
And Tapling has just been a tough customer this afternoon. The poise, the diligence, the courage to stand in the pocket. Same for Quinlan for NYPD. Yancey, Kudzia, and Ruffin slotted to the left side. Looks like a fade maybe to the far corner with 3 receivers. Tapling looking, gonna throw to the end zone for Ruffin, and that one batted down nicely. And the 2-point conversion fails, but Chicago gets the score. Mustafa Young on the batted ball. And they live to fight another play. So now with 3:16 to go, we'll keep it here. Tommy Gilbert, what do you think? Onside kick here?
I think you almost have to, with the way both teams have moved the ball so well here in the second half. Things I never thought I'd be saying an hour and a half ago, Mike. But I think you really have to consider the onside kick here. You're already down 4. You need a touchdown, and I think that's the best course of action.
So we'll see what Chicago decides to do. Winner of this game plays for the NPSFL Championship on June 20th. Boy, the community aspects of this league are just phenomenal. They represent our nation's heroes in such a positive light. And there's many avenues of this career path for many who don't realize exist. If you want a partnership and work with the NPSFL, Andy Singleton is your guy. Go to npsfl.network@gmail.com and contact the Director of Marketing, Andy Singleton. Boy, a terrific guy. Longtime New York firefighter, just recently retired. And he has dove in full throttle at marketing and promoting this league.
And I'd like to personally thank him for the opportunity he's given me today to spend my afternoon with you, Mike.
He's a terrific human, has a passion for this league and the first responders across the country. Not only markets the league, goes out and sells sponsorships, deals with the day-to-day business of the NPSFL. Just a terrific asset for the NPSFL. All right, it's going to be an onside kick. Let's see what Lenti does here. He's going to come to the near side. Here we go. There's the bounce. And And it caroms out of bounds. Onside kick, so difficult in organized sports, such a low percentage. Lenny gave it a great try, got that hop.
He got that bounce that everybody dreams of.
Here you go, right here. There's that hop, that boom, boom.
Right away, and then, just a little too much oomph behind it, got out of bounds.
And now with this, it's on the NYPD finest offensive line and the running backs. It's on that front four for Chicago. They need a stop. They have 2 timeouts remaining. They need a 3 and out. Quinlan comes in with the play for the rights to go to the NPSFL championship game. The finest looking for a first down. The enforcers starving for a stop. Here we go.
The ND filter on the back left, if you could turn it to 0, your shot's got a little dark. It's just a little on the switch.
Woodley and Felder. Marker down, false start finest. Oh, brother, what a mistake.
This is starting out really good for the enforcers. We hope this momentum keeps pushing them back. Ultimately, NYPD is going to do what they can to just eat up this whole clock so they can stay ahead of this without giving them a chance to turn it over. But this was a great thing for the enforcers.
They're going to have to stop Felder, and they're going to have to stop Woodley. These 2 rock star running backs for the finest. Dig in, 4-man front. The give here up the middle, nowhere to go. Swallowed up and stopped after a short gain. Felder, the ball carrier. Clock running inside of 3 minutes to go. Second down, maybe 9 with forward progress. Great stop here defensively.
Here we take a look at it. These lines, DD lines, both sides have been consistent the whole game, putting up good stops, real good stops, especially when it's necessary. And right there, they put a good stop on them, and that made a difference.
Gain of 1.
So second down and 14, clock running, 2.5. The finest chewing every second they can off the clock. Enforcers dig in. Quinlan looks at him. Quarterback keeper to the right side, turns the corner inside the 40, down to the 39. And the clock continues to run, 2:10, 2:09, third down and short for the finest.
Quinlan on the keeper, setting up 3rd and 5.
That was a big carry for Quinlan. Not only did they get to eat up some of the clock, but they got some good forward progress. So it's not out of this reach to turn over on a reset of downs here to get a first down.
And the clock stops with 1:59 to go. Not quite certain how many timeouts Chicago has. Maybe 1. We've got listed 3, but we know that's not accurate. Chicago with maybe 1 timeout remaining. So after that timeout, Chicago down to 1 timeout. Chicago down to 1 timeout. Third down and manageable for the finest. Well, Mike Curry, you're going to get a steady diet of either Felder, the quarterback Quinlan, or Woodley here, you would think.
Yeah, they're going to just do that run, eat up this whole clock, because they're not giving anybody a chance to turn it over. And their runs have been executed. And they just got to keep chipping away little by little and use that play clock to their advantage.
.41 41 points scored here in the second half. Just 3 in the first half of the contest. Third down play. A first down here for the finest, and they're on their way back to the NPSFL championship game. Chicago digs in defensively. They need a stop. Quarterback keep Quinlan to the outside. Wrapped up and dropped. Oh, did he go out of bounds? No, they keep the clock running. Timeout, Chicago. Oh, brother, what a stop and a shot here for Chicago.
They read that so well. They just followed him all the way down that line and just got him right out of bounds. But you know, the athleticism again on both sides between Quinlan and Tampling, the ability to carry that ball and keep going. It's the fourth quarter, but these guys are just really executing still all the way out, which is a testament to their ability and the caliber of the playing on both teams.
Benjamin Little, the Chicago police officer out of District 25, led the charge on the stop. Timeout on the field. We'll be right back. This is the NPSFL on YouTube.
Mr. Combs, a recruiter for the Roanoke Police Department. I can give you a million reasons why you should come to this agency, but how about you hear a few from some of my friends? Let's go. RPD values what we have to offer.
I grew up here in Roanoke and wanted to take care of our citizens.
I wanted to be part of a team.
Because we wanted a challenge. By working together, we can make a difference in today's youth.
Using the latest in technology to build a safer community. We wanted to bridge the gap. We wanted to be the example. We saw our future with RPD. You see your future with us.
Everyone has their origin story, and we want this place to be yours. So apply today and change tomorrow.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And back here in Chicago, after the Chicago timeout, Mike Fraser along with Mike Curry, fourth down play. It's going to be 4th and 7 here. The finalists will likely go for it, do you think, or will they punt it?
They're going to go for it. They're going to just kill this clock out. They're going to run it down because that's their friend right now. And the more they take off, the less chance they get the enforcers to try to run it back down and sit some momentum. Get some momentum going on their behalf, because there's still 4 points, and that's a minute and 50 seconds. This is going to be a very riveting minute and 50 seconds of football. I'm going to tell you that right now.
We're about to call it. Winner will receive $225.
Okay, here we go. 4th down and 6. The finest going to go for it. A first down, and they're off to the title game. Quinlan to throw. Flushed left. Going to try to run for it. He's hit. He is short. He is short, I think, at the 35. Brooks on the stop. Let's see the spot. Minor with the stop. He's stretched. This is a 4th down play. He's short. He's short. Chicago football. Chicago football.
Quinlan barreled through real hard. This was a last-ditch effort on their part. And he was trying to whittle off the time on that clock, and he did a great job of doing that, scrambling around and then just keeping it. But, boy, the enforcers came up, and they stopped him exactly where they needed to. This was huge. Now Tampling's got a minute and 40 seconds to drive it back downfield. This is not out of anybody's reach right now. This is still a great ball game.
Who would have thought Chicago would have had a shot down 24-14 with under 4 minutes to go? But they've got just that. Here's another replay. Great effort by Quinlan. My goodness, what guts. He rolled forward. They're going to bring out the chains, but
5, 7, 8.
they got to get the measurement here. Let's get down and get that measurement shot. Here we go. He's short. He's short. Chicago football. The defense stops. That was a good spot. Great effort by Quinlan. Just a touch shy.
And you know what? Again, true athleticism, amazing ability to push through and to fight off and to resist as fast, as hard as he could. Those 2 enforcer defenders to try to get that first down to just own that clock for the rest of the game. But you know what? The enforcers came through. They put a stop to him real hard. That was close. That was so close. And now we're going to see what Tampling's going to do to drive back down the field. We got to make smart plays here. We can't give it up.
As Chicago with a chance here. The Finest still with a chance. All they need is a stop. They still remain in the driver's seat. Tapling to the air, going, home run for Ruffin, incomplete. Boy, they got double coverage on Ruffin. They're not going to get beat by him.
No, and you know what? Knowing the battery of Tamplin and Ruffin, they're going to just lock him down real hard. And Tamplin's going to have to come up with another resource. I don't think Ruffin's going to be able to get away from them.
Boy, look out for Yancey here, wearing number 17. Deceptively fast. Kunzia has been a clutch catcher for this football team. So Chicago with 2nd and 10. Winner of this game is on to the NPSFL championship. Another epic game between Chicago and New York. Boy, they met last year in the Big Apple. And these two friendly foes digging in at each other once again. Tapling over the middle's got Ruffin 45. Ruffin to midfield and a Chicago first down.
That was a huge play. That was a big gain.
Pass completed to number 19, Brandon Ruffin, for a first down.
That'll stop the clock momentarily to move the chains.
And again, Tapling with a lot of time. Man just executed that shot right on the money.
Tapling to the air underneath in tight coverage. Broken up there on the play. There he is again, Mustafa Young. He had that batted down ball in the end zone, and he strikes again. Well, they're going to double team Ruffin. Kunzia tried to twin with him and sneak through.
If they could cross him up in the secondary like that, that'd be amazing. But you know what? NYPD's secondary is just so on the ball. They're so good at getting where the ball's at and not giving up a whole lot.
So 2nd down and 10, the ball at midfield. Minute 18 to go. The finest by 4. Chicago on the march. Tapling to Pescasio. Can he break a tackle? He does. And spins and is upended down to the 43. Clock running 3rd and 2. Chicago out of timeouts.
Their only option is to hurry up this offense, and they're doing that.
Pascasio gets the first down to the 38-yard line, and that'll stop the clock. Boy, it was a gutsy call there. If he doesn't make it, boy, more time ticks off the clock. First and 10, and smartly so, Tapling will clock it.
And what a such down-to-the-wire football game. You know, the back and forth this whole game by both sides, this has been a true pleasure to watch.
Two gritty, gutsy, proud, historic programs in the NPSFL. Just going toe-to-toe with one another all afternoon long here on the south side of Chicago. The winner to the NPSFL championship game. The finest need a stop. Chicago needs a score. Tapling going deep. Batted down. Mustafa Young. Ruffin, the intended receiver.
You see here, they're not giving him any room to breathe. But you know what? NYPD's playing for that pass because that's what Chicago's got to do. They just about had it. It was just a foot short of where it needed to be. But throwing that far with that kind of pressure, that's a very challenging thing to achieve.
3rd down and 10 now for Chicago. They're down 4. From the 39 of the finest. Tapling flushed to his right. Pressure coming. Over the middle. Intercepted. The finest have it. And the finest are going to win. Mark Ricketts with the pick. Penalty markers down, but I think after the play, Mark Ricketts with the INT. And the finest are heading back to the NPSFL championship game.
Yeah, this was something else. You know, a great exhibition between two teams.
After the play, penalties to be assessed. After the play, the interception stands, and the New York NYPD finest, Mark Ricketts, with the INT, with a half a minute to go, and NYPD punched their ticket back to the NPSFL championship game.
And you know, that pass, if that was 4 inches shorter, of course, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bicycle too, but you know, it was just narrowly out of reach, and it just went to that receiver, the defender in the right place at the right time, and they were able to come through. But this whole game, both sides, both teams have executed marvelously this whole time. This entire football game has been back and forth and riveting.
Quinlan takes the snap, goes to a knee, and NYPD make a return trip to the NPSFL championship game. They win it here, 24-20. Both teams now will line up and shake hands. Another well-fought football game between these two just proud and rich programs in the NPSFL. Chicago in white, NYPD in the navy blues. And these two teams battle again. And the NYPD finest are headed back to the NPSFL championship game June 20th. Let's go downstairs to Tommy Gilbert. Tommy, your thoughts?
Mike, I would describe the mood on the New York sideline as about 25% jubilation and 75% relief. That is a team that is not used to being pushed that hard on defense. The only other time they've given up 20 points in the last couple of years was to the same Enforcers squad last year in New York in June in the NPSFL championship game, as we've talked about a couple times on the broadcast. I was actually standing right in the line of Adam Tapling's pass, the one he threw that Mark Ricketts picked off to end the game, and you could see he was just trying to make something happen out of a little bit of desperation right there. Ricketts was able to get a paw on the ball, and it bounced up into the air, almost looked like it was going to be deflected and fall to the ground. He was able to turn around and corral it, and that was that. And immediately the explosion on the New York sideline when they realized they were going to win the game, a game in which they were pushed to the brink by Chicago, no doubt. You saw, I think, in the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter, both in the moods on the sidelines and in the way the defense is played, you saw the fatigue that comes from playing football at 2 p.m. on an 80-degree day. Not something you see all the time here, May football in Chicago, and it was a spectacular day for a great game. Kudos to the coaches and kudos to the athletic training staff in particular on both sidelines. Both staffs very, very vigilant in terms of making sure when there were linemen coming off the field, whenever anyone, either the offensive or defensive unit was coming off the field, making sure they had ice towels, making sure they were calling for water immediately. The recycling bins on both sides are as full as I've ever seen them. You saw a few issues with cramping maybe on the field today, but overall just a spectacularly played football game. All the drama you could possibly have asked for. And really, even Renaissance men in the booth up there. We had Mike Frazier quoting or paraphrasing a Dylan Thomas poem toward the end of the broadcast, and you had Mike Curry quoting Munenori Kawasaki at the beginning when we were talking about cramping. So great working with you guys today. Truly a wonderful product on the field as we recognize these community heroes and get to feature them doing something that they love. Signing off from the field, I am Tommy Gilbert. Back up to Mike and Mike in the booth.
Tommy Gilbert, terrific job down there. Stay down there, Tommy, for one more moment. I want to see if we can get Clive Harding, the head coach of NYPD. We'll go to a break. We'll take a 2-minute timeout, and we'll come back, and we'll see if Tommy can grab Clive Harding. NYPD on their way back to the NPSFL championship game with the win over Chicago 24-20. This is the NPSFL on YouTube.
From one hero's sacrifice, a mission was born. Today, we stand at a historic moment. As we approach the 25th anniversary of September 11th, our mission has never been more vital.
The freedom and comfort that this home's going to give us versus where we're at now is incredible.
I felt like I was seen, that my service mattered to somebody.
With cutting-edge technology transforming our capabilities and the nation ready to remember, we're prepared to reach 1 million monthly donors and expand our impact like never before.
Without people like my brother, without people like our men and women who serve our country, we don't have a country. This is our promise, but not just for now, but forever.
NYPD advances to the NPSFL championship game with the win over Chicago. Downstairs to Tommy Gilbert with head coach of NYPD, Clive Harding.
And Coach Harding, as we just talked about before coming back on the air here, you guys two-time defending league champions trying to stay on top, pushed to the brink today.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Chicago's a great team, and we knew we had to give our A game today. And it was a great football game, definitely a great football game.
When you guys were coming out of halftime, score is 3-0. What are you thinking right there? Obviously, your defense is known for playing fast and aggressive, that's for sure. Take a lot of pride in what they do. But you knew Chicago was going to punch back. What were you thinking first on the defensive side of the ball?
Defensive side of the ball, we had to play, great. Again, continue to play great. And offensive side of the ball, we had to score some touchdowns to win. I thought we had to score 4 touchdowns today to win because they were a great offensive team. And it turned out that, we were pretty close.
How much would you say the heat and fatigue came into play there in the second half, especially for your defense?
Well, we're a well-conditioned team, and we go very deep on defense, so that's what won the game for us.
Looking ahead, I don't want to take the enjoyment of this away from you, but looking ahead to the Fun City Bowl, thoughts on facing off against FDNY?
Hey, it's going to be a great game. Another game just like this, heated rivalry for the last 54 years, and it's going to be a good game.
I'll let you go talk to your team, Coach. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us. Back to you upstairs, Mike.
And it's Tommy with Clive Harding. Happy Clive Harding, Mike Curry, as NYPD back to the NPSFL championship game.
And they executed exactly how they're supposed to today. They really did. Clive's a great coach. They got a great ball club. Historically they produced and they continue to produce. How many times? Well, back-to-back already. How many times they played Chicago? At least twice in the championship game. They are always a main contender in this league.
Your thoughts on the Chicago Enforcers season?
Wonderful. It was a great season. They executed. They did very well. They played 3 tough teams. They played the Tri-State Shields, FDNY, and the NYPD. And they came real close in this game. Both teams today, it was a small margin. They hammered back and forth equally. NYPD got up first with that field goal, and that was the separation. Otherwise, the Enforcers matched every other score that they had. And it was a true testament to the ability. The Enforcers came out to play. They played hard. They never gave up. They rallied in that second quarter, just like NYPD did last year. But they persevered today, and they couldn't get over that last 3 points that NYPD scored early in that first quarter.
As a former player in this league, what an epic performance by both teams today.
Outstanding performance. The adrenaline was high the entire game. Everybody executed. Both defensive lines stopped everybody when they needed to. They were just unbreakable. Small little chips in the runs, small passes ahead. It was the chance encounter when both offenses were able to execute on those passes and those runs, because the defenses showed up today and they put a stop everywhere they needed to go.
Mike Curry, it was a pleasure working with you today.
Sir,
we
the pleasure was
appreciate
mine.
your service.
Really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, Andy, so much for the chance to do this.
Terrific job by the NYPD finest as they win this one 24-20. You see them down there. A happy bunch of guys. The teams will get together this evening and really have a good time. Well deserved. Just a terrific presentation by both these teams in representing the NPSFL. For our field man, Tommy Gilbert, our technical director, Anthony Coletta, my play-by-play man, Mike Curry, our producer and engineer, Robert Williamson, this is Mike Frazier saying so long from the south side of Chicago at Mount Carmel High School, where NYPD, the finest, live up to the name. They're headed back to the NPSFL championship with the 24-20 victory over Chicago. So long from Chicago, Illinois.